pass. 4 seconds left. Oh, Ryan Hall picks it up and scores in the corner.
You could not write their script.
You will never see anything like that again.
He's gone for a big one-pointer from halfway, and he's kicked it. He's kicked it. Oh, he's got it. Oh my word.
Oh, that's magnificent. And his most sensational try.
That's the ball game. That's the grand final.
Oh, don't matter how much you paid tonight to come and watch this game. You just got every single penny's worth, and you might owe a bit more.
This is 5 Live Rugby League on 5 Live Sports Extra.
Good evening then from a very sunny Salford. I say that, blue skies, a little bit of white cloud, the floodlights are on here. And they will be shining on what we hope will be a real firecracker of a game. Salford Red Devils against the Wigan Warriors here at the AJ Bell Stadium. The Challenge Cup holders, Wigan, looking for a double in 2022. They've already beaten Salford twice this season. Can they make it a hat-trick here tonight and really put themselves in the frame just over the halfway mark in the season for a place in those playoffs at the back end of the year? Alongside me tonight, Matt Newsom, is Richard Agard, former Leeds coach, Wakefield and France and Hull. You've done the rounds, haven't you, my friend?
I've had many jobs, yeah. I've had many jobs. Been in too long, really. Too long. This is the best job I've had. Don't worry about that.
Exactly. It's an absolute pleasure to have you alongside us. One of those games tonight, isn't it, where Wigan have had the upper hand twice this season, but particularly the last game, 20-0 in the Challenge Cup. If you're a Salford fan, I guess you overlook that one maybe a little bit more. But the league game took a couple of moments of magic really to turn it, and otherwise Salford showed some real fight in that one.
Yeah, we were saying earlier in the bit of the build-up, this fixture at Salford, Wigan v Salford, has produced some really close and tight encounters over the years. I think for Salford it's a really interesting one because I think they're a capable team. They're on the home ground, and it's a fixture that if they win, they can start sort of looking up and thinking, you know, what's in front of us here. If they don't win, it might be a situation where they're peering over the shoulders a little bit about what's going on behind them. But, you know, Salford are a club that perhaps don't spend as much as other clubs, haven't quite got that sort of pulling power, and you know, miraculous run that got them to the grand final, you know, 3 or 4 years ago. There's probably 2 players left out of that team still, so Paul's had a fair bit of a rebuilding job at a club, but as we say, doesn't sort of quite fish in the same pond as the Wigans and the St Helens and the Leeds of this world.
Yeah, I guess for Wigan, a bit of breaking news by the way. Liam Farrell signed a new 3-year deal. I mean, sometimes retention is almost as important as recruitment, isn't it? And I mean, he's rolled back the years the last couple of seasons, hasn't he?
Oh, I think, you know, what a reward as well at this stage of his career to get a 3-year deal. But if there's any guy in the game deserving of being afforded that sort of luxury and reward at this stage of his career, I think it's Liam Farrell. He's been a model of consistency, but not just consistency. His performances are just absolute top level. You know, he's no force. He plays on both edges. He tips in the centre or the middle if needed to be. And I think he's been everything that epitomises what you sort of come to expect from the successful Wigan teams.
We'll have a look at the team news. Liam Farrell is involved for Wigan tonight. We'll start with Salford, with them being the home side. Ryan Briley is at fullback for them. Ken Seo, Dion Cross, Tim Laffey, Joe Burgess 3-quarter line. Brody Croft and Mark Sneed in the halves. A pack of Sitaleki Akawala and Jack Ormondroyd, the 2 props either side of Andy Ackers. A back row of Callum Watkins, Harvey Livett and Elijah Taylor, with a bench Sam Luckley, Amir Baru, Alex Gerrard and Tyler Dupree. As for Wigan, well, Jay Field is their fullback. Bevan French, Willie Isa, Jake Bibby and Liam Marshall, the 3-quarters. Harry Smith and Tommy Luluai in the halves. The pack is Liam Byrne, Sam Powell, Brad Singleton, Liam Farrell, John Bateman, Cade Ellis. The bench, Patrick Mago, Ollie Partington, Ethan Havard and Joe Shorrocks. As far as sort of spines go, both sides have got pretty strong, haven't they, in terms of the quad, but then around that, the forwards are going to be key, aren't they?
100%, as they always are. You know, I look at Salford's spine, and the key to most of Salford's victories this year has been come off the spine. We've already highlighted that a lot of the tries, a bigger percentage of tries than any other club in the competition, come on play 1, play 2. Sneak's prepared to kick the ball early. Croft is prepared to kick the ball early, and in Ryan Briley we've got a support player that can, you know, a bit like Wigan have really in Jay Field, can get on the back of a lot of things. A couple of areas I would look at is in terms of the front row, Ormonroyd and Aquala, and then we've got Livett and Watkins making the second row up. Both guys who've played, obviously Callum's played the bulk of his career in the centre, and Livett's played a lot of backs too, and Ormonroyd and Aquala, who are absolute big strong ball carriers, but where they're going to get challenged tonight is defensively, and how they hold up to the Wigan middle forwards that undoubtedly have got a really big and strong bench as well, is going to be vital to Salford, I guess, stopping Wigan tonight. But back to your original point, Matt, where we're talking about the halves. I think Harry Smith, what happened in the cup final, will have done that player the world of good. He's been the guy that if Cust and Lualai are fit, probably misses out a little bit or finds some time on the bench. He really stood up and came up with a great performance and a match-winning play. What I guess would have boosted his confidence and really, know that he can do it on the big stage and deliver for Wigan.
Well, it's one of the games taking place in Super League this evening. This is Richard's former charges. Leeds have made a short trip across West Yorkshire to Huddersfield. That one kicked off at 7:45 p.m. No score in that one so far. We'll keep you across that one throughout the evening, and of course other fixtures in round 15. Hull FC here at Catalan Dragons. Sunday, Toulouse, Castleford Tigers are away in the south of France as well at Toulouse. Saints against Hull KR. James Roby will most likely surpass the record number of appearances in Super League, which is some feat, isn't it? And then two of your former clubs, Rich, Wakefield Trinity against Warrington Wolves, 10th against 11th. Wakefield continue their form, and suddenly, they might, depending on how it goes, they might leapfrog Warrington.
Well, that's a real interesting game, and I wrote the Wakefield game last week, and it were a very typical Wakefield at home, backs to the wall performance. One of those where, despite being down on the scoreboard, the spirit that they've got, you couldn't quite sort of shake. Hull couldn't quite shake them off. And we're coming up again a Warrington team that have, 4 defeats, and 3 of the last 4 games have lost by, they've conceded 40 points as well. So Wakefield will be smelling blood a little one in this and wanting to drag Warrington a little bit closer down to him. And for Warrington, again, it's a great opportunity to try and give him some much needed confidence.
Well, it's been a good couple of weeks for Wigan's winger Liam Marshall. His late breakaway try at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium secured a 20th Challenge Cup for the Warriors, and he followed that up with a brace at Castleford last week. A little earlier, I caught up with the flying winger.
Liam, the last couple of weeks for you have been perfect, haven't they?
Yeah, pretty good. Obviously the Challenge Cup weekend was special, and then to back it up last week against Castleford away, which was always going to be a tough game coming off the back of the final, but we did a good job, and obviously individually it was pretty good. So yeah, it's been a good last month or so for me, and hopefully I can carry it on tonight and go into the break. It'll feel good.
I guess, with that England squad being named very soon, how sort of hopeful are you that you might well be involved?
Yeah, obviously I was very privileged at the beginning of the year to be involved in Sean's training squad as it was, and just sort of trying to focus on my own individual game and doing what I can to help Wigan, and whatever comes off the back of that will be a massive plus. Obviously it'd be incredible if I was picked and got the opportunity to play for my country, but yeah, at the minute just focusing on my club game and doing all I can to sort of play my best rugby. Yeah.
Given sort of everything that's happened with you in your career, the 2 ACLs, all the kind of heartbreak that you've had to deal with, how good is it at the moment to be getting regular rugby and doing really well as well?
Yeah, like you said, obviously I've had some injuries in the past, and probably in the last 3 years or so it's been a bit inconsistent, sort of not really getting the run of games together, or seasons being ended, or bits of the season being injured. It's been pretty difficult, but yeah, to be knocking off a few games and playing some regular consistent rugby is really good, and I'm enjoying myself, and it's coincided with the team playing some good rugby, and it's a good place to be at the minute playing for Wigan, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
What do you reckon to Salford tonight? You've got some decent threats on the opposite side. I mean, and obviously Joe Burgess, who you'll know very well.
Yeah, obviously there's a few ex-Wigan lads out there. Joe's one of them, and they play some good rugby. They're a well organised, well drilled team, and I know in the 2 previous meetings we've had with them this year, it's been tough, and it's been a very difficult game. So yeah, we know we need to be sort of on it tonight to give ourselves a chance of getting a result, and play some good rugby against them, or it'll bite us. And obviously, like I said, with the break coming up, you don't want to sort of have your last game as a poor performance, and going into that break off the back of a loss is something we don't want. So yeah, I think it'll be a good game tonight, and hopefully we can get the win.
So that's Liam Marshall, the Wigan winger. Well, the high-profile return of Mark Sneyd to Salford grabbed all the headlines in pre-season, and a conversion tonight will put him 9th on the Super League all-time scoring list, surpassing Iestyn Harris. But his partner in the halves, Brodie Croft, has perhaps been the most impressive so far this season, and I spoke with him a little earlier about life here in Salford.
Yeah, really enjoying it. We had a really good start of the season and then had a bit of a lull and had a really good period recently. Had a poor performance last weekend, but we're looking forward to a good performance tonight on the back of it.
What about Super League in terms of the style as well? I mean, you come from the NRL, the elite competition, but Super League seems to really suit your style of play.
I just think it's a new lease on life, I guess, fresh start for myself, new beginning coming over here. I'm all settled up with my family here now. My in-laws all live over here, and they've really helped me settle in, and the club's been immense, really helped me feel a part of it. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying the challenge of helping Salford out.
I mean, that's really key, isn't it, having family around and just having that support network, I guess.
Yeah, certainly. They always talk about as long as you're feeling good off the field, you're going to generally performance is going to correlate on the field. So yeah, I feel like it's important that I've got my bases set here really well now, and I'm feeling really good in a good headspace, and yeah, hopefully we can put in a good performance again tonight.
What's it like playing alongside Mark Sneyd?
Yeah, he's a really calming influence on the team. Got so much experience in the Super League. He's done so much. He's got such a great kicking game, which takes a lot of pressure off myself. And I feel like each week we're growing more and more on the combination between myself, him, and Brealey at the back. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying training alongside him, learning little subtleties of halfback as well alongside him. And yeah, I look forward to what the future holds for us.
I mean, you're playing here tonight. The fans this season really come out in numbers. How does it compare sort of here to sort of back in the NRL?
I'd say the biggest difference is just how vocal the chants can be over here. I really enjoy that, especially here at home. Yeah, they get behind you, the songs, the chants, and even the away fans. I mean, they kind of get me fired up when they kind of get into us. So yeah, no, I enjoy it. I'm really enjoying that.
What about Wigan? What do you expect from them? I know you've played them twice this season already.
Yeah, they're a very physical team, well experienced right across the board. We've played them a couple of times now. We come close the last time we versed them, and they've had some success recently with the Challenge Cup. So yeah, they've certainly come into this game feeling really good about themselves. But I really back our boys at the moment. We're starting to really hit our straps now at the right time of the season. And as I said earlier, we didn't play really well last weekend, but we've learnt from that. It's a short turnaround. We've come out here, and home fans hopefully get us home.
And I guess you watched Origin on Wednesday. You would have been a happy man?
Yeah, certainly, yeah. Always love getting behind the boys there in Queensland. I think a lot of the boys, when we watched it here as a squad, they'll go up in New South Wales just to go against me. But good banter, good rivalry there. But yeah, I was happy to get the end result.
And what about Billy Slater, head coach? Would you have seen that one coming?
He's remarkable with how he goes about his business. When I had the chance to play with him, or even train with him for a few seasons, and play a season with him there, and the way he goes about his business is second to none. He leaves no stone unturned, and yeah, I learned so much from him. And to be honest, I could see him being a coach, and I can see the boys buying into so much of what he's about because he's such a passionate Queenslander as well.
Brodie Croft there talking about many things, finishing off with a little chat about Origin. Producer Craig left that one in. He was threatened to remove that one, said I was self-indulgent asking such questions, but yeah, he's kept that one in. Yeah, Brodie Croft, we'll come on to Liam Marshall as well, but Brodie Croft, he's almost gone under the radar, which is surprising because he's had a good season, hasn't he?
Well, I think we've seen examples of what's happening with Brodie Croft before. You know, you get blokes like Blake Green, Jackson Hastings, who for whatever reason, you know, the blowtorch of the NRL as a young halfback, don't quite find I guess the levels and expectations really early on in the career, and we've seen it work where they come over here, get 150 games under the belt. They get used to steering their own team around, around the park without probably the pressure and intensity and expectation of what a young player coming through the system there, and they go back better players. And I think Brodie having, come on the scene at Melbourne as the expectation, were he going to be the next Cooper Cronk and take over? It didn't quite happen for him at Melbourne or Brisbane. So a good chance for him to sort of get out of those spotlight and come and rebuild himself here. Interesting that Sneyd does play 7 and Brodie plays 6, where he's predominantly been a 7 back home, and there is a subtle difference in the way that he's playing the game, but he runs the ball plenty.
Well, we're going to just making their way out onto the field. It's Armed Forces Day here at Salford, so reduced price entrance fee for those who are serving soldiers. We've even got a sort of ceremonial ram as well at pitch side, who will be making his way out onto the field with once those Salford players join us as well. But Wigan in their blue and white as the away side here at Salford. Salford about to hit the field themselves. They've done it up. There's a little bit of pageantry about this. There's a little bit of ceremony about this, Rich.
Yeah, it is. I'm not quite sure about the ram. It's a great surface if they want to leave it out there for a while too.
Yeah, so the Salford players about to be welcomed out onto the field here. As to a sort of guard of honour really from all serving members of the armed forces. There's the Royal Air Force, the British Army and the Royal Navy. Salford just a little delayed here, but
I'm just looking at the mascot, Matt, here too. Historically the mascot under the old owner had a look of Marwan Kukash. They've since changed the head of the devil, and it's a very authentic devil as you're looking.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? He's got his trident and red base. Yeah, the old Marwan devil's gone, hasn't it? Yeah, long gone now. And
he might be back. You never know.
You never know. It's in Hock somewhere, isn't it? Chris Kenton is our match official. He's just been to receive the match ball from a veteran, and we'll take that ball out to the middle, and we will have the Tackle It campaign, 13 seconds. And we're going to have a moment's applause as well to thank those who have served for this country. These sets of players and fans all around the ground joining in that moment. And we will have the 13 seconds as part of the Tackle It campaign, and then we will be up and running here. And those faces of both sets of players, Wigan players kneeling, the Salford players just taking a moment of reflection, but there's a business-like look about both sides here. They know that this is part of the ceremony of a regular Super League game, but there were some focused faces out there, Richard Agar. They're bang up for this.
Some focused faces. It's going to take us a while to clear the field. We've got flags, we've got old servicemen, we've got mascots on there. We're steadily marching off with the flags now. But yeah, Wigan received the ball from the main stand as we're looking. Going to go right to left, play towards their fans. So Salford will be playing towards their fans too. Both ends are packed, Matt, too, with supporters. Look like we're in for a good atmosphere. Both teams come out to real good applause.
And the Wigan supporters already making plenty of noise, the drums being banged. Mark Sneyd is about to get us underway. I'll just run through the teams quickly as well. Salford, Ryan Briley at fullback, Ken Seo, Dion Cross, Tim Lapai, Joe Purgis 3/4, Brodie Croft, Mark Sneyd in the halves, the pack, Sitaleki Akawala, Andy Ackers, Jack Ormondroyd front row, Callum Watkins, Harvey Levett, Elijah Taylor in the back row, the bench, Sam Luckley, Amir Buru, Alex Gerrard and Tyler Dupree. Sneyd does bang that ball downfield. We're going to have Jay Field at fullback, Bevan French, Willie Isa, Jake Bibby and Liam Marshall in their 3/4 line, Harry Smith, Tommy Luluai, the two halves, the pack, Liam Byrne, Brad Singleton either side of Sam Powell, Liam Farrell, John Bateman and Cade Ellis in the back row, the bench, Patrick Mago, Ollie Partington, Ethan Havard, Joe Shorrocks. Plenty of muscle there for Wigan, and it's early muscle that is trying to guide them out their end of the field. Bateman that time it was, now Cade Ellis. I mean, if there was ever a kind of a statement from a team, Rich, it's Liam Byrne, Brad Singleton, Cade Ellis as your middles.
Yeah, and it were reflected in the first set. Very little ball movement, one out passes, advantage line runs from all the big fellas, I guess, trying to work over the Salford middle.
So Ryan Briley received that kick, gets his way just over the 30 on that first carry. Croft stepping into acting half, Ken Seo looking to add a little bit of punch to the Salford attack. It's a very different approach from Salford, isn't it? Outside backs.
You took the words out of my mouth, mate. I was just going to say that even though one's from a kick-off and a kick return where you've probably got more people behind the ball, a very different approach. We'll see heavily the Salford outside backs in Burgess, Kensio, who are always really good for me, as Tim Laffey getting their hands on the ball early in Salford sets.
Yeah, last time I was here, Tim Laffey produced that little flick pass, and he's in the action there as well. Inside the 40, inside the Wigan half here, Salford on that left-hand side. Sneed puts up the kick. It's an end over end. It's a little bit scruffy, and it's taken eventually by Wigan. But the minute that the Wigan player hit terra firma, there was Brodie Croft putting some shots in.
Yeah, I think Salford's defence has started with intent. We're only a set and a half in, but at the moment they're getting off the line. The shots have been really solid. They've been really controlling the tackles.
So it's Willie Isu takes it up, who's playing in the centres tonight, as we were saying just a moment ago with the team news. Powell now onto Marshall. Wigan's turn to try and speed things up a bit around the ruck here, with Powell into the hands of Byrne, who slides the first tackle and then runs into Levette, who gets a bit of help. I think it was really interesting what you were saying before about Salford's back row. They've got, some, like you said, there's some ball players there, there's some strike there, but it's Wigan who strike now. There's a kick down the line by Bevan French. He's got some toe. It will just run out of play in the end, and
you see the corner flag, Matt, so that's going to come back to the 20. But Wigan chancing their arm, running the ball on the last, quick hands on the short side through Bateman. Isa ends up with Bevan French, who we know's got all the skill set and abilities. So he came up with a kick to Salford's corner. Unfortunately for him, it hit the corner flag. Salford will get the ball back on the 20.
Yeah, Croft away to this right edge, and again it's ball movement. It's trying to keep Wigan's defence honest, which it is on that occasion, as Smith and Farrell make the challenge. Now it's Dion Cross who's caught the eye, hasn't he, following this move from the Championship?
Yeah, he's been impressive for his first season and acclimatised to Super League really, really well. Made a starting spot his own within half a season, so yeah, he's doing well.
Lacazette acting half for Salford, midway inside their own half here, centre field. Sneed with a little bit of a step from him, looking to run the ball here as he almost takes Salford to halfway centre field. Elijah Taylor maybe winding up for one here. They were hoping for a ruck penalty there, were Salford, and maybe a set restart, but they didn't get one.
He didn't get one, but I've got to say, I didn't see too much fighting Mark Sneed on the floor to get up and play the ball there really quickly.
Croft almost looked like it's straying high there from Farrell. It's the last though, and they're 30 out from the Wigan post here, just to the right of centre. It'll be Sneed again who puts the kick up. It's an end over end one into the corner, trying to trap Jay Field in that pocket, in that back end. But he's got the ball away to Marshall, and it's a front foot challenge from him before he's tackled that time by Akawala and Ackers.
I thought a good bit of attack and a good bit of defence here. I thought we showed really early from Brodie Croft. Player inside, player outside, shows the ball, takes the defence on. He's becoming known as a real running threat and six who's not afraid to take the line on. And both halves for Salford, which is good signs when Sneeds have decided that early doors in this game they're going to have a run with the ball. Really good play from Field on the back of the kick from Sneed to find Marshall on the inside just to get him on the front foot in that set.
And they got the penalty as well, and that's just given them a bit of a jump start. Cade Ellis trying to punish his way through the middle as he's tackled just short of halfway. Wigan Warriors on the attack here. Powell to Luluai, keeps it moving infield to Singleton. He is tackled almost on the halfway line that time. Powell to Smith, turns it back on the inside to Byrne. Big leg drive from him up over the 40 before
I think he's one of the most improved players in Super League this year, Liam Byrne. Again, making the starting position his own. He's on the team sheet every week, and I think he's a player that really has that ability to leg drive his way and make some really vital yards, grinding it out in the middle of the field.
Powell trying to pick off the back of that good work from Singleton, and then followed up by, Byrne, and then followed up by Singleton. The two of them both pushing, both offering a bit of support here. Smith will chip a little ball over the top into backfield. Kensio took that on the full inside his own in goal. No, he didn't. He just took it just before the in goal, but still managed to break out. And Salford will have to play out, and that's a little bit loose. And the ball's come loose. And in the end, Mark Sneed just about dived on it and rescued that situation.
Oh, wouldn't like to have been in Paul Rowley's shoes at that point. 10 metres from their own line, throwing a cut-out pass across the face of two people that hits the floor. Did well to mop the ball up and get on the scraps there, Salford.
So Callum Watkins trying to push down that right edge as he takes it up to the 20. Ackers infield to Ormond Droid, who looks to pick out some of the big boys, offer up a little bit of treatment to them. Ackers down the short side with Croft, who skips one tackle and then again throws a little bit of a wild one. Elijah Taylor mops it up, takes it to the 40. Salford can't fault the endeavour, but the execution.
You know, if that's a mindset that they've come in with, that they're going to promote the ball and they're going to make Wigan work hard defensively by offloading, by finding a little bit of second phase, by turning the ball back inside. You know, high risk, high reward.
So they're up over halfway. Ackers manages to smuggle that ball away to Taylor. He's almost unopposed. He runs for 10 metres. Then Croft takes them inside the 30 and almost to the 20. They're getting a bit of front foot ball here, Salford. Last one. Just to the right of centre. They'll come down the right side now with Briley. Out the back to Watkins. Little dink down the line. Bounce almost caught Jayfield out, but he recovers well. And Wigan will have to play out from the corner again, a couple of metres off their own line.
Lovely play there, Matt. I think, again, showed they're prepared to put some shape on the last play and run the ball with shape, with a bit of a play on it. And Callum, again, has got the skills, being a centre all his life, to find the kick on the end of it. Now, interestingly, I'm watching Ormond Royd and Aquala in the middle of the field. There's been a fair bit of traffic through the middle of the field. I just want to see how their defence and line speed goes, 8, 9, 10 minutes into the game. Make sure they're getting the kick on the line speed and not missing the defensive line.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's all well and good carrying, but it comes back your way.
Yeah, I just thought I noticed a little bit of lack of inside pressure on that last set, which, again, when we're talking about Wigan's lineup and how they've looked to start the game, that might be all part of the sort of grand scheme of things for Wigan.
Yep, work them over as Kensio takes that ball and he guides Salford down this right edge almost to the 40. Good carry from the winger. He's one of the top scorers in Super League. He's just one off Tommy Makinson in the chart so far.
And even if you look at Salford now, it's play two and their outside backs are getting in, and Watkins is taking the carry. They still had the outside backs lined up on the other side of the field, ready to pass the ball if they felt they could get around Wigan. So I think Salford are coming in with a real attitude of they're going to promote the football as much as they possibly can tonight.
Yep, so far so good. 0-0 with 8.5 gone, but they're making some inroads here. Elijah Taylor getting his hands on the ball plenty. Likewise Croft, cut out ball. Oh, Cross has spilled it. Luluai, or I should say Bibby, will try and take that one away, but he is stopped in his tracks by CO before he could get away. But again, we saw glimmers of the threat. If they can execute that right, then Wigan are going to be causing some problems.
Yeah, they're going for it. I think the ball were in the air long enough that the Wigan defender got enough time to see Dion Cross and come and shut it down and put him under pressure. The pass was slightly behind him as well. But again, he's showing you the intent of Salford when they've got the ball. The key for Salford now is to be able to defend this error.
Yeah.
Now they're back down their own end.
Yeah, Elijah Taylor left on the floor. Liam Byrne comes in. Akawala wraps the legs. He got his shoulder right into Liam Byrne's gut and then wrapped around the legs, and Byrne may be feeling that one. Lovely pass out to Bibby, and he's released Marshall down this left hand side, cuts it back in field, throws the pass to Smith. That was beautifully done for Marshall and finished off by Smith. You talked about defending on the back of an error. Well, they haven't. Wigan have scored, 10 gone, and they hit the front.
And we almost saw a like-for-like play, the exact same play that Salford put on 40 metres out from the Wigan try line, where Wigan read the defence and came and shut it down. The pass was slightly behind him. On this occasion, I think it was Harry Smith played a little bit earlier, put the pass right on the money, catch and pass, and the speed and execution that Wigan did it, and the defensive read, there was just a difference in the whole execution of attack and defence. I thought Marshall did a great job putting the hammer down when he got in the clear and finding his inside support to Smith there. Just heading for the space, and like all good halfbacks do, reminiscent of Sean Edwards, who did it for 15 years at Wigan, supporting through the middle of the field to pick up the pass.
So we've had points here. Salford 0, Wigan 4, try from Harry Smith. We've had points at the John Smith Stadium. Huddersfield 16, Leeds 0, Ricky Latelli, Jermaine McGilvery, Jake Warden.
Well, I'm going to say that surprised me, because I looked at some of the players that weren't playing for Huddersfield tonight, and I think what I saw from Leeds last week, the energy that they got back into the game and the way that they attacked in particular and played with the ball. I thought, I know it's very early, but I fancied Leeds going there tonight with Huddersfield missing the likes, Chris Hill. But yeah, that is a turn up. Plenty of time left.
Absolutely. No game finished after quarter of an hour, is it? Harry Smith has sunk the kick. So in the 11th minute, Wigan, as you see that again, it was crisp, wasn't it? In the execution, good, but I mean, Marshall's decision to come in field, threw a bit of a dummy, drew the defence, and there's Smith with a coasting.
Yeah, we credited Harry Smith with a pass. It was Thomas Lulai. Harry Smith tipped on to Thomas Lulai. With Thomas Lulai that threw the tunnel ball, got enough zip on the pass and put it in front of him. And I think we saw a great little piece of centre play from Bibby to catch and pass just to put Marshall into play. So again, as we talked about, really good execution from Wigan.
Harry Smith takes the kick off, and he's tossed that one up to Cade Ellis, who comes marauding forward, weaving almost, wasn't he there, just trying to catch a little bit of lazy defence, maybe a little bit of on the heels work from the Salford forwards. They scrambled a bit there, Akawala and Ormond Droid certainly looks as though he's feeling it a bit now.
Yeah, Koala double effort, and he's just slow to get off the floor and get back to middle. Great effort from him, good shot, good wrestle, out from marker. But now he's just trundling back into the defensive line. I expect Wigan to, keep punching in them same areas for a while yet. Here we go,
yeah,
straight
John
at
Bateman
him.
Straight at him, yeah. And he smuggles the ball away and keeps it alive with a second phase here, trying to get those speedsters on the ball out wide as Bevan French comes in. It's almost like touch football, this from him. He's just running amok. And eventually he's brought down just short of halfway on that right-hand side. Salford 0, Wigan 4. Luluai looking to shift the ball here. Smith spots some space in behind. Kentia would come up, gets his bounce just right, and it will turn the play round here.
Yeah, one thing you like from your halfbacks at times is feel. Get a feel for the game, and sometimes that's not something you can overly practice on a training field. You can, but it's very difficult. I think experience comes with that. And I just looked at Harry Smith there. The bumped off some tackles. He felt a lack of line speed. The Salford forwards have been worked hard in that set. I thought that were really smart play to kick the ball into the corners and then say, right, come on, get yourself out of this end when you've got only 5 or 6 players behind the ball. The ball rolled over the sideline, which I think Salford in that instance would have been glad about. But yeah, smart play from Smith.
Looking to play the ball inside at their own 30 here, Salford. Watkins looking to drag them up to the 40. Joe Burgess making the carry early in that set as well. Briley and Ed Acton half this time. Croft wanting his hands on the ball. Croft plays at the line, a little bit of dummy work from him as he trickles his way to halfway. Ackers this time, keeping that ball moving. Now Briley down the short right-hand side, takes it to the line, smuggles it away to Cross. Good strength from Cross to force his way a little bit further into that Wigan half. Back towards the middle they go now with Croft. Croft drifting across, out the back to Sneed. Sneed spots the space in behind. It came off a Wigan hand. Wigan have come up with the ball here.
Great play, Willie Isa. As you said, Matty, there, he got a Wigan hand, which obviously ricocheted the ball into a little bit of space here, but great reaction from Willie Isa in the centre to fall, to dive on the loose ball there, because there was some danger coming for Salford.
And again, those forwards having to graft their way, as it was Bevan French that time, stopped by Akawala and Ormond Droid, and then they utilised Willie Isa as well. Marshall's turn.
Yeah, he got lucky on that one. I thought Akawala went high on Marshall there, but referee Kendall signalled he felt it were around his shoulder.
Here Farrell trying to slice his way through, gets an offload to Powell. Here comes Field, he's pulled down. Huddersfield 22 leads 0. Chris McQueen with an 85-metre intercept. Luluai onto Bateman here for Wigan, throwing the ball around inside the Salford half. Ball went backwards, still in the last as Chris Kendall. Kick in behind, it's smothered by Salford on the retreat, and they will have to play out from their own 10 in that corner as well.
Yeah, Sneed's done well there to turn and drop on that ball. He had to defend that line squarely. Wigan had numbers, and as Luluai put it through, he managed to get a real good turn, a dive and fall on the loose ball really well. But what I'm seeing here, Matty, already, I think we're 15 minutes in, I'm seeing a Salford middle that's breaking away a bit here. Wigan started to get offloads and come through the middle of that set. They're slow to get behind the ball. I reckon Paul might be looking in there and thinking some fresh energy from his bench, because this could be a long 5 minutes if he wants to push him out to the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, you're right. Luckley and Tyler Dupree both warming up on the touchline. That, as you say, might be an imminent change at some point. Briley looking to test out that Wigan defence. It's still the last, says Chris Kendall. Riley's got to get that ball away. That's a turnover. I don't know whether Briley lost the tackle count there, but
I reckon maybe he did, because I think he did a real good job. If he could have just got his boot to the ball and grubber the ball through the line there, he would have come up with a really good play.
It was one of those, wasn't it? I think he looked up as if, what?
There was plenty of space and he went and attacked it, but yeah, if he could have just found a kick on the end of it or a little bit of a pass, they may well have got a little bit more money on the end of it too.
Sam Powell running aground in midfield here for Wigan, who lead by 6 points to 0 here on 5 Sports Extra.
And I think the messages will be coming down from Matt Pete now. Just keep hanging on to the ball, keep asking little questions in there. Don't be giving them cheap possession and make them have to tackle you for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and you'll start to get your rewards later in the half.
Well, they're doing exactly that, aren't they? Turning the ball back on the inside, switching the angle, switching the point, bringing back rowers back against the grain. They did that with Bateman, they did that with Farrell, keeping that defence honest. Luluai drifting across, making Sneed make the tackle there. Inside the 30, last one here inside the Salford half. Harry Smith has the ball in hand. Will just put a kick into the corner. Underneath it, Joe Burgess as it drifted across, and now they've got to try and pin him back, and they have done. Really good chase there from Wigan. Joe Burgess happened to play that almost off his own line.
Yeah, crowd not happy. I think they're appealing for a penalty or a 6 again at this point. But again, we've seen some of the Salford guys slow to get behind the ball. There's a little bit of shade.
Yeah.
But Wigan get off the line really quickly and shut the play down.
Yeah, Akawala, Taylor, Ormond Droid all kind of lumbering back, and that one's been dropped by Croft. It's gone forwards. Wigan allowed to play on. Oh, that was a little bit wild. Eventually Chris Kendall will call play back.
Yeah, probably just what Salford didn't need. He's run the ball a lot, Brodie Croft. I reckon he's run the ball 80% of the time that he's touched it already in the first sort of 22 metres, but just got caught up there with a little bit of an arm in the play and a little bit of a tangle from the Wigan defenders, and his grip on the ball just not strong enough. So Wigan will get the scrum in a great attacking position 20 metres out from Salford's line.
Scrum plays. Saw in Origin. Perfectly worked one the other day, didn't we, with Daly Cherry Evans. Have Wigan got something up their sleeve here, maybe?
With speed. Here we go.
Field. Oh, Field sneaking out the back.
He looked, Marshall were wide open there. He got to the next defender, and if he could have found that pass, Wigan had the numbers.
Liam Byrne with a settler through the middle again, putting the traffic down the throats of Taylor and Ormond Droid and Akawala, making them graft, making them suck in those lungfuls of oxygen as they are being put under duress here. Powell out the back to Smith, takes it to the line. They're inside the 10 with Farrell. Callum Watkins locked on. Field from acting half into Smith, travelling across the 10. Now Cade Ellis back against the grain, looking to punch a line back towards the post here. Powell goes to the right of the ruck now with Luluai. Wigan attacking. Salford desperately scrambling and just doing enough to make the tackle there 5 metres away. On the scrum lines, practically on that right hand side. It'll come back to Smith. He'll hang a kick into the in goal. In fact, he's fired that. Dion Cross took it on the full in goal. Tackle on the tap on the 20. 7 tackles set here for Salford, and boy, do they look like they need it. And they're making the interchanges now.
Yeah, I think they've got 3 interchanges coming on. So 3 middlemen all off and 3 middlemen all on. And I think that kick going a metre over the try line into the in goal is something that mightily relieved Salford at that particular point, because they looked like they were just hanging on in that set.
A little bit of an offload out the back there, trying to get Salford on the front foot. As you say, Sam Luckley, Alex Gerrard, Tyler Dupree have all come on. It's Tim Lafayette with 2 hands on the ball, trying to take on those Wigan middles.
I think the key for Salford to get on equal terms there, I know this sounds pretty obvious, is to have the ball as much as they can, because actually when they've had the ball, I think they've looked really threatening and promising.
Down that short side they'll come with Sneed. Sneed fishes the ball onto Harvey Levette, who is, Rich was saying, played a bit in the halves in his career, played a bit of centre as well. Now they'll sneak down the short side with Lafayette. Inside the 10, Salford here, last tackle. Out on that left hand side, Burgess tries to go himself, and he's had the ball pinched.
Yeah, I reckon the halves will be a bit disappointed with that play. Lafayette had a little sneak down the short side, and it were an even shorter short side that Joe Burgess tried to get down on the last play. And as a right-footed kicker, I aren't too sure what Joe were potentially seeing. He's seen a bit of space, and I think he would probably think he'll kick for himself. And again, on the back of it, they've given him a penalty away, which will just relieve the pressure for Wigan to get set and sorted after that defence that they had to do.
Yeah, because actually, I mean, whilst the kick wasn't, it wasn't a good kick at all, was it? It was an air shot, but actually, turning the ball over there is not the worst place, is it? But
No, it's not. No, it's absolutely not. And because it's so tight to the touchline, they've probably only cost themselves 10 metres on the penalty as well.
So Willie Isa scanning the line, trying to pick a gap before he's tackled just short of the 30-metre line inside the Wigan half here. It's the Wigan side pouring forward at the moment. Ollie Partington's on off the bench for them. Liam Byrne taking a well-earned break here as Singleton makes the play the ball. Lulawai takes it into the teeth of that Salford defence now, up on halfway. Just the 6 points in it. They've come the way of the cherry and whites in their blue and white away kit. Brodie Croft came out the line and put the shot on Smith, and that has really lifted the crowd here.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt, and I think he should lift his teammates too. He read the play, Bateman skipping across, dropping some players under but going out the back, and he read it really, really well, and for a half-back to come out of the line and put a strong shot on should give his teammates a lift.
Ryan Briley trying to squeeze his way through a little gap in the line. There was nothing going that time. Liam Farrell and Partington shut it, but again they've got the backs coming through. They had Kensio drifting across there, looking maybe for someone to put somebody through a hole, and Joe Burgess obliged, but the tackle was committed before he could whiz that ball out.
But don't underestimate, Matt, too, what effect that has on the defence. You know, if Burgess is coming for that, someone in the line's got to check him, got to stay up a bit longer, takes him a little bit longer to get back. You know, the cumulative effect of push and support has a fatiguing effect on defences.
Yeah, might well see that taking shape. Croft trying to push it back on the inside again. They like the play, I like the inventiveness of it. They just can't quite execute.
They can't give the ball away. They can't keep dishing it up to Wigan too easy like that.
Sneed fires a kick off the left foot. It almost hangs in. It doesn't even look that breezy out there, but it just got caught somehow, didn't it? Really good kick in behind it. The chase is on. The ball is knocked loose. It's been knocked. It's been knocked back.
Yeah, this is a tough one for the referee, because it looked all unlike Wigan were going to bundle the ball out over the dead ball line, and I think it will Mark Sneed. Tried to tip the ball in field, but as he's going over there, it looks like the ball's hit him on the chest as French has been trying to get it over the sideline. He didn't play the ball at all, but unfortunately for Salford, he had the last touch.
Yeah, fine margins that, wasn't it? As you said, he was trying to keep that alive, wasn't he? Yeah.
So a couple of things on that too for me is Brodie Croft again offloads the ball, hits the floor. In Mark Sneed, we've got a player who can conjure up tremendous last plays. If you're not going to come up with a play and break the line in execution, at the end of the set, you know he's going to give you a chance to compete for the ball. One thing I did notice, as you mentioned on commentary, there's a bigger breeze than I thought. You know, it looked like Sneed were kicking into a fairly decent wind at that point once the ball went above the sort of level of the stadium.
Yeah, because you can see there's trees wafting over at the top of the stand, but it doesn't feel as if, like, you know, you're booting it into a hurricane.
And it's not looked like that throughout the game, really, has it? But as soon as he put some height on that ball, yeah, we saw the ball blow back towards Salford.
Partington rattles it in here. Kate Ellis has made way, by the way. So as Wigan change things up, Ethan Havard's come on. Bateman again turning the ball back on the inside, putting a back row against the grain. He spilled that one in contact. Alex Gerrard's smuggled it in, and Salford have turned the ball over here, taken the possession away from Wigan. We've got 16 and a half to play in this first half. Still finally poised. Whizzed by Cross to Croft. Gerrard keeps it alive. Dupre flung a pass off the floor.
Yeah, Wigan, plenty of energy about the defence here, some offloads, and Wigan, you know, right up in the faces, shutting the offloads down.
Salford in possession here, but Wigan's defensive tenacity in centre field is being borne out here. Croft tries to take it on the run that time. He's up to the 30 inside the Wigan half here. Salford, ball movement into the hands of Dupre, who skims that line. It's Alex Gerrard, sorry. Tyler Dupre lurking as a possible option here. Likewise, Luckley, they'll come to the short side. Sneed will put the kick up. That's again skewed off the boot. Burgess tries to tap it back in field, and we're going to come up with a loose ball.
Oh, dangerous. And a couple of things there. Bevan French dropped back really early there. Unfortunately for Sneed, his outside players were just really flat. I thought there were a real good opportunity to maybe run the ball from 20 metres out. We saw that breeze come into it again, and the ball get ricocheted back. And let me tell you, with Bevan French and Jay Field on the field, that's very, very dangerous territory for Salford to be letting loose balls ricochet behind their own line.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, does it?
It's try time, mate.
Loose.
It's try time if they got hold of it.
Powell into the hands of Havard. Smith across to this short side left. Jake Bibby got it, took it against the grain. He was a fan's favourite here before he moved to Wigan after the 2019 season. Smith now to Farrell. Wigan trying to stretch the play again out to the right side. This time Luluai with a big fend and a lovely flick. Here comes Bevan French inside the 20. Salford commit the challenge and make him release the ball. They've somehow come up with it though. It was Willie Iser who rectified that error. Now Smith, they've come from right to left here. Smith with a dummy, goes past Croft, dragged down though by a retreating Gerrard. Still the pressure is on, and then Sam luckily slipped Fielder's hands there.
Wasn't it just for a big fella, just stuck his right hand out and grabbed it into him. Steve Waugh-like.
Yeah, fair play to him. The big Geordie, North Shields. Tim Laffey.
There's a long way from half-time here. Salford again chancing their arm offloading on their own 20 and the ball hits the deck. There's a long way from half-time here, but Salford are hanging in here. You know, Wigan have probably been the stronger team, but they've been unable to shake Salford off. I don't think Salford have had any real clear-cut chances to score on Wigan as we speak. But at the same time, you know, they've been through a little bit of a sticky period and they're right back in the game again.
Well, Leeds have got a try back against Huddersfield at the John Smith Stadium. It's Huddersfield 22, Leeds 4 at the halfway stage, and Ash Hanley on the score sheet in that one. Just the 6 points in it here. There's a kick which ricochets back. Ryan Briley has to retrieve it. Still the last, says Chris Kendall. Crowd don't like that either. The kick was hurried straight down the throat of Jay Field. There's a broken line ahead of him, and in the end Salford have done pretty well there to shut down that play, because Field and French almost combined, but the space wasn't afforded them that time, Rich.
No, well, and you know what? 6-0, sorry, after, you know, coming up to 30 minutes. Both teams are really looking to attack out there, looking to promote the ball.
And here comes Farrell. He's just striding through. Oh. He's somehow found some extra speed there. Rolling back the years once again. Liam Farrell, 31 years old, playing like a 21-year-old. But Wigan weren't able to get to the line on that occasion. Bateman stopped just inside the 10. Spun to Smith. He keeps it moving across the field. Now onto Bibby. Away to this left-hand side as Bibby has a cordon of red shirts in front of him. And there's no way through for him on that occasion. Playing on the 10, last one. Luluai may be looking to kick this, or will he take it across field? He gets it away to Smith. Now there's the kick in behind. Dribbled into the in goal. It will be taken at the back. And Burgess will be tackled just outside his own goal line there.
Yeah, well done, Salford. You picked it there, Matt, in the commentary. Being swathed by red shirts and a really well-connected defensive line that I think is moving about really well for Salford. Again, now this is the challenge again, bringing the ball off their own line to see how far they can march Wigan down and put them in their own territory. Because this is tough going. This is where it gets really difficult.
Now Mark Sneed stepping into acting half, while Andy Acker's just had a little bit of a breather. Likewise, they're keeping that ball moving. Sneed with a cut-out ball to Dion Cross. He's juggled that and he's tried to drill a hole in between Jake Bibby and Harry Smith there. This is the last one on halfway. This time Sneed goes for a kick along the floor. Field has juggled that. He's knocked it backwards. Horace Dean did knock on. It looked to me like it squirted backwards.
Yeah, but on first glance, we'll have another look at it on the big screen. Sneed absolutely drilled the ball, but you've got to say, watching the big screen, it looks like Fields is tried to catch the ball, come off his chest, but the ball's gone backwards. But so nonetheless, Salford have got the call. 20 metres out from Wigan's line, and it gives them a great opportunity to turn the tables on this game and launch an attack with 10 minutes to go till half time and get on the scoreboard before the break.
And the crowd are fired up, aren't they, as well? I mean,
they're always a fired up crowd at Salford. They're always a fired up crowd.
Now you can hear them. Poor Rowley up in the box looking on. Tim Laffey battered to the ground by That Wigan defensive line that time. Luluai and Isa, not a couple of characters you want to come up against, as they dip their backs and dip their shoulders and bend their backs.
They've both got very strong shoulders on them, aren't they?
Yeah. So it's Ackers, plays short to Croft. Croft with a little step at the line, runs into trouble, runs into two.
Yeah, a little bit disjointed that play. 3 plays in and the half would have wanted a bit cleaner ball with movement around him, but they've got a 6 again.
Yeah, set restart is Dupree. Tries to hit that line.
He's had 3 or 4 carries. He's carried the ball all right, Tyler Dupree. Gone on his front, hit the line really hard.
Yeah, carries with intent, certainly. Sneed plays out the back, trying to get Lafay away, but Lafay is wrapped around the midriff by Luluai and around the top by Isa, and again he's brought down. Briley striding across field at pace. Now Sneed, now Croft, now Watkins. He's dropped it. The ball's still not been wrapped up here.
Yeah, again, Salford letting Wigan off the bit. You know, having had a 6 again in that set, I'm sure Salford would have wanted to keep Wigan working, get to tackle 8, 9, 10, and then start to see the little late retreats and the gaps appearing in the line. But they went for the execution play, and the skill just a little bit off. And your skill, you know, to get through a Wigan team like this, who even last year when they probably weren't scoring as many points, the try-line defence has always been very much a forte and part of their DNA.
So Smith plays the ball into the scrum. Out the back, Ethan Havard, Patrick Mago about to come on here for Brad Singleton. What a stint that is.
It's a good stint. Yeah, it's a good stint in the middle of the field on a night where, yeah, they've seen plenty of traffic.
And Patrick Mago, he's certainly got some power about him. Willie Isa drives it forward. Oh God, almost poked his nose through there. Almost up to the 40. Powell on the back of that. Here comes Patrick Mago. What an absolute monster he is as he comes bundling forward. Now Smith turns it back on the inside to Farrell. Legs tackle from Callum Watkins. Made sure he wasn't going any further. Last one here for Wigan, 30 out from those Salford posts. Smith is going to make that a contest maybe. At the back here, Briley takes it. A good screen there from Croft as the ball came down. Now he's going to fling a pass to Burgess. Oh, he had to take that high above his head. And that one didn't quite work out as a shift, did it? But have they got a penalty here? They have, yeah.
Yeah, I can't quite work out what this one's from either. Saw Ryan Briley again. Both fullbacks have tried it tonight. Skip across the face of the defensive line and try and find the long ball in the space. But Jesus, sometimes it looks absolutely fraught with danger. Trying to work out what the penalty is for. Oh, he's got a late shot as Ryan Briley's passed the ball. I think Luluai just dipped his shoulder into him. And deemed late enough by the referee Chris Kendall to award Salford a penalty.
So once the ball been lost over the top of the stand on that far side, it'll be tapped by Lafay. It'll be Sneed who moves that ball into centre field, and Salford will try and truck it up here beyond the 30-metre line as Sam Luckley with a big beard and the shaven head wrestles his way to within 40 of his own post here for Salford. Picked up by Ackers, going down that short side again now. Now hitting the halfway line through Harvey Levette. 7 minutes to half time. Salford 0, Wigan 6 here on 5 Sports Extra. Sneed out the back to Croft. Croft, nice step from him. He's finally got away. Eventually dragged down by Ethan Havard. Had to make that challenge. He was running riot that time. Sneed onto Watkins. Watkins looks up and just barrels into the Wigan defenders in front of him. Last one here, just outside the 20. Mark Sneed's got a kick in him as he spins that one end over end up out to there. Patted back by Cross, but straight to Harry Smith, who was alert and alive.
Yeah, I think they played for that because he didn't put as much height on the ball and just lobbed it up in the air. I thought they played for the tap back inside on field. Wigan got enough numbers around him to come up with the scraps, but we saw a Salford player lurking on the inside, so maybe that was something that rather in the plan rather than just a little bit unscripted and ad-libbed.
Nice to see a contest as well, isn't it? You know, so often now it's like pin a fullback or a winger in the corner.
Absolutely, but you know, 40 metres out, Matt, or you're kicking 40 metres in from attack, so you can always compete. You can always get a competitive kick out there.
Farrell tackled just up to the halfway line. Salford have really limited the yardage here Smith has to get a kick away, and actually, credit to him, on the back foot there, quite literally, he's hammered that one into touch and turned Salford round back to their own 10.
You see, I think Salford will be happy with that. I think at the moment it gives them a chance to get set, get the forwards behind the ball, get everybody reset into position. I think when they're bringing the ball out with the backs, it's not bringing the forwards into play much at all during the set. So if I were Wigan, I'd potentially be trying to maybe just keep those in a little bit and turn the screw on play 1, play 2, play 3 when they're not having to defend a full Salford line. This time Salford get the wind in the sails, they're able to take 30 seconds off the clock, walk back, suck in the big ones and then get behind the ball.
So you want to almost put it in the 10, almost to sit in the 10.
Yeah, just get some set for set going.
Come back off the line,
100%, because I think that's where Wigan's probably got the advantage tonight, the set for set type stuff.
The armour. So are you involved at the World Cup?
Yes, I am. I'm on the Samoa coaching staff, believe it or not. I've not got any heritage, but I am. Yeah, I am.
Not wheeling you out then?
No. I've got no great grandmas or anything like that, or even residency. But no, the coach. I know the coach, and I know quite a number of the coaching staff. They've got England and France in the group, and obviously they're staying in Doncaster as well. So I think there's a little bit of luck. Can you help us out with the English and the French sort of when they come up and against them in the group? So yeah, it'd be a great experience. Did the last World Cup in this country, working for France, and it is something that is always an honour and a pleasure to be around.
Yeah. Patrick Mago, I think, has put his hand up, hasn't he? I think for Somali.
Yeah,
is he on the radar?
To be honest, probably not for me to say, but when you look at the Samoa team,
I mean, there's some class, isn't there?
Mate, 6 of them played Origin the other night. That's how strong they're going to be if they all pledge their allegiance to Samoa, which I think they are doing. So yeah, the likes of Paulo, Papali, Jerome Luai,
Tino.
Tino will be here. Yeah, I think Tino's Samoan. Yeah.
Some quality. So just under 4 minutes to play. Salford 0, Wigan 6 here. Salford on the attack. Up to the 10 they go. Briley, well tackled by Isa. He didn't miss, did he? It was like a missile.
No, good read from Willie Isa.
Tossed in field now to Sneed, who goes back to that short side. Bit of patter cake in the air, but Wigan come down with it. That kick went up and it was flapping about all over the place.
I think we're going to look really comfortable defensively. I think they've looked comfortable on the try line. Probably contrast with Salford, who have been bumped in a fair few one-on-ones and they've had some line breaks on them. I think we're going to look very, very comfortable defensively. So it's going to take a good play, execution play, or even like we saw then, a kick, or we saw some patter ricochet there where Salford are going to have to work hard for the tries tonight.
Havard tackle just up over his own 20. Tommy Luluai's face appears on the big screen. Influential tonight. Jay Field trying to skip on the outside, but Brodie Croft there to make the challenge. Neil Farrell just working his way back to his mark. Smith gets the kick up. That's a spiral that spins all over the shop like a carrier bag. Briley pats it back. Oh, that's bouncing awkwardly towards the in goal. Partington's chasing it. Joe Burgess somehow got there, gets himself out of the in goal and into terra firma, into the field of play. And Salford there, well, hearts would have been fluttering up in the box.
Ryan Briley's were probably fluttering when that ball were in the air with the wind spiralling around, thinking, oh my word, which way is this ball going to come down out of the sky? But there's a real point, and that might be Salford's key if they can ride it out till half time here. That if that wind is as dangerous as that, it can be a real asset for them.
Absolutely, it's going. Mark Sneed putting one of those up, going the other way.
100%. I mean, Ryan never looked like getting too close to that one, and he ended up miles away from it.
Sneed this time kicking in behind. Is that 40-20?
Just short, I reckon, Matt. Yeah, just a metre short. But Joe Burgess did well to cover that kick up. That was real danger. Partington following it up, and Joe Burgess managed to get up the scraps and just get out of his in goal. I thought that was smart game management again from Sneed. With a minute to half time, Salford have probably got one set to defend. They've been on the back foot a little bit there, so he's just drilled the ball as deep as he could into touch, looking for the 40-20, and again they get a chance to reset and aim up for one last set.
Yeah, because Willie Isa will hit that one up, and it's really defiant defence. Turned away at the door that time. The bouncers not letting him in. Smith tries to wriggle away from Callum Watkins. They almost got trapped behind the ruck there that time. Forward pass cries from the home support. Patrick Mago is floored that time by Sam Luckley. Powell scoops up the ball one-handed from back in half. Now Luluai floats a pass wide. He's put that in touch.
49 seconds to go. Are Salford going to race to get this ball in and played to give himself a chance?
If they set the scrum, is that still the law? If they set the scrum,
get the time off.
Yeah.
Probably going to get to about 30 seconds. It's no scrum, it's to play the ball.
Of course, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so
old habits die hard.
The clock's still going to run, but even if they don't get a decent enough crack with the ball, they still could have a last play, a kick play, a Hail Mary type situation.
Now we're going to see anything special here. Croft wants the ball in his hands. 14 seconds to go. Croft runs into Ollie Partington. I don't think that was in the playbook, but Ackers has skipped across. This is one last dig here. They've really got to get this play away or give it up. For half-time, Ryan Briley with a hop, skip and a jump. He's tackled. The hooter will sound. That brings a breathless first half to an end. Just the 6 points in it, but it's been ferocious. Fair's been enjoyable, Rich.
Yeah, again, really comfortable defence from Wigan when they look like being stretched on those last couple of plays. A couple of things coming into it for me. I think Paul Rowley will be pretty happy with the resilience his team's shown. He said they've been bumped off a few tackles, they've conceded a couple of line breaks, but they've scrambled hard enough. They've stopped Wigan scoring in a couple of situations, and they're really hung in a period there where Wigan, you felt were getting on top. Set for set game, there's not too much in it. What I would say is the challenge for Salford looks like it's going to be scoring points. Wigan have been really comfortable, really strong defensively, and Salford have struggled to make too many indentations, but they have got the win this second half.
Yeah, all to play for. Big 40 to come. Half time though here at the AJ Bell. Salford 0, Wigan Warriors 6.
This is 5 Live Rugby League on 5 Live Sports Extra.
So don't forget you can catch up with this game and all the others from this round of Super League round 15 on the Super League show. The first viewing of that one will be 7 o'clock on Monday night. If you like to watch it in linear fashion, it's on BBC One at 10 past 11. It's repeated at 1 p.m. on Tuesday lunchtime over on BBC Two. And of course your weekly offering of the 5 Live Rugby League podcast is available to download and listen to at your leisure from BBC Sounds every Wednesday. On this week's podcast, Dave Woods caught up with the legendary Brian Lockwood, a member of the successful Great Britain World Cup winning team of 50 years ago. 50 years ago, goodness me. And he asked him what his memories were of that tournament played in France back in 1972.
We walked out onto the field and I'd not played against the Australians.
This is the first game against
First game it was. And we all lined up, and I looked down the line, and I just couldn't believe how big the Aussies were. You got this Mark Harris who were like 6'4", and he must have weighed 16, 17 stone, and he was a centre. And then they got your Arthur Beetsons who were like 6 foot odd, and your John O'Neills and all these. What am I doing here against these? And then basically we got into the game. And I thought, well, yeah, I'm all right here. I'm equal to them, and we finished up beating them.
Yeah, and that was important.
Very important.
At the end of the tournament, wasn't it? Can you just explain how that tournament worked?
Well, we played the Australians. We beat them. Then we went on to play France and New Zealand. We beat France reasonably, but we absolutely hammered New Zealand. And basically, then we were in the final because Australia had done the same. And we played them then in the final, Australians in the final. And after 80 minutes, we were drawing. So anyway, they said they were going to play a bit of extra time and what have you. Anyway, no scored, and they said, right. And all the lads were jumping about and screaming, and I'm saying, what's wrong? He said, we've won World Cup. So I mean, we've won World Cup, we've drawn. Yeah, but we've got a better points average than what they have. So basically, we've won it. So I just couldn't believe it at the time.
What was that tournament like? Because it was all in France, wasn't it? How well supported was it? Because I mean, the famous shot of that was the Clive Sullivan try, wasn't it? The Parc des Princes?
Yeah.
And the stadium is quite empty, actually, isn't it?
Well,
but a fantastic try.
Oh, unbelievable try, but I bet that there won't be 5,000 people there. So it was a bit disappointing, that we're winning all those matches and what have you, and the crowds were very, very poor, but there again, we'd won it, and that was main job, know.
Yeah, and it's going to be very different this time. I mean, when England walk out against Samoa at Newcastle, there's going to be 50,000 there, aren't there?
Well, I should imagine so. I'd like to see that, but I just hope that we can give a good account of ourselves. That's the main job, and I think we've got the players that can do it, as long as they're selected to do it. And I think Sean, he's a hell of a coach. He's proved that anyway with Wigan, didn't he? So I'm looking forward to it actually.
Back to 1972, you're World Cup heroes. You win the tournament. You come back, presumably open top bus ride through London. No,
we had nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. And that were it. And
nothing at all. I mean, when you arrived back, there was
nothing at all. Yeah. We came back and there were people talking to us, like the security guards and that were talking to us in the airport, and well done, and that's as much as we got. The thing was, we didn't expect anything. I don't think we didn't, but we thought we should have had somebody. I know that we finished up on Eamon Andrews' "This Is Your Life" with Clive Sully.
Yeah.
Clive Sullivan did his life story and we went on there. But the team spirit were unbelievable.
Yeah. Tell us about some of the characters, because those are some of the great names from rugby league, yourself amongst them.
Well, Dave Topless.
Yeah.
He didn't get a game, didn't Dave? He was one of the players that didn't get a game. And I can't remember where we were, but we were in one of the towns or cities, and we were in this bar, and New Zealand lads came in, and they got laughing and joking, and it got a bit of a, how can I put it, a bit rowdy. But anyway, Terry Clausen, who was the prop forward, he's absolutely full of it, joking away there. Anyway, Dave Topless and the scrum half from New Zealand was singing, "I am the joking man, I've come from your way, and what can you do?" And they were hitting people with trays on top of their head. I can play the tray, boom, boom. Anyway, next thing, the bar owner had phoned police, and the gendarmes came. Anyway, Terry Clausen said to me, "I think we ought to vacate these premises." I said, "I think you're right." So we went across and we were in another bar, and we were upstairs on like a veranda, and Topless come out with this halfback from New Zealand, and police were chasing him, and there must have been about 8 of them. Anyway, down this street, and then Topo would stop, laugh, and then come back and sidestep all them. They couldn't get anywhere near him from these police. And he would go, anyway, turn around, and then he'd go back round, and these police were trying to, they couldn't get anywhere near him. And I'm sat with Terry Clausen, and he's looking down, and "What do you reckon then?" I said, "I don't know, Terry." He says, "Do you think they'll shoot him?" It's like that, So, there were funny things happening like that all the time, So.
Brilliant. Did it take a while for you to get winners' medals, some of that squad?
Well, yes, quite a while. But I can't tell you, because I can't remember, they charged us for the medals. And it was,
you had to pay for your own.
We had to pay for his own medals. Which one to medal? It was a little shield, a wooden shield with World Cup winners on it, and we had to pay for that ourselves.
Wow. We can't remember how much it was, but it doesn't matter how much it was. Whether it was £5 or 55 quid.
Well, it was something like about 15 quid.
Yeah.
£15. But that, you've won World Cup, and you have to pay for your own medals, I don't think England did when they won it in 1966.
No. Did you? The cliche question, but could you have imagined in 1972, having won that tournament, that would be the last tournament for 50 years at least before England or Great Britain would win a tournament against Australia, whether it's a Tri-Nations, an Ashes series or whatever?
You see, I went out to play in Australia.
Yeah.
And I went out to play with like Canterbury Bankstown. I had a season with them. You know, Castleford loaned me basically to Canterbury. And when I go over there, I couldn't believe how professional the clubs were. You know, they got special trainers for different things and what have you. You know, we just used to get a coach and, you know, do a lap round the field, do this, do that. And they were so professional. So in a way, I was looking at it and I'm thinking, well, you know, this is the right way to go about it. You know, there again, I'm not saying that I were happy with the type of football they had out there. You know, like I moved, I came back to Castleford, and next thing I know is I've got a phone call from Balmain, and they're asking me are you interested in coming? I said, yeah, I'm interested. And I was supposed to have a benefit at Castleford. Anyway, I went in to see the directors and I said, you know, can you do me benefit? And they said, oh, well, we can, you know, not just yet, like. And I said, well, I've played nearly 11 seasons with you. Now, anyway, they said, Balmain's interested in you. So I said, oh. He said, do you fancy going? I said, well, we'd had a good time, me and my wife, at Canterbury. So I said, yeah, I'm interested. So Phil Brunt, who was chairman at the time, turned round and said, right, if you sign for Balmain, we'll give you 10% of whatever we get for you. So anyway, I went, signed for Balmain, went over, and I had a word with Phil Brunt, and I said, right, can you sort it, you know, my money out? Like? He said, oh, we can't give you anything, he said, because we didn't get enough money for you. So when I got to know this, I went to see the secretary, a chap called Keith Gittos, and he went in his office. He was his secretary, and I went in and I said to his secretary, how much did you pay for me? She said, why, don't you know? I said, well, no, I don't, I said. She said, so she got this contract out and looked at it, she said, we paid over £40,000 for you.
Wow.
And I never got a penny out of that, which upset me because Castleford was my own town and I loved it. I never wanted to leave Castleford, but I thought the opportunity to go out to Australia and play there were far adventures for us than what just staying around Castleford, like, you know. So
and people talk about the English invasion now, you know, that Adrian Morley, you know, went and he was followed, Gareth Ellis, Sam Burgess, you know, all those players, James Graham, a lot of players over there. But I mean, at that time there were a lot of top English players that were in Australia, weren't there?
Oh yeah, well, you see, you got Malcolm Reilly, Phil Lowe, you know, they were playing with Manly. Then as they left, you got Gary Stevens and Stevie Norton, you had Johnny Gray at North. You know, there were numerous players like over there. Roger Millward came over and went to Cronulla, and it was highlighted over there, you know, the English players were because we were doing well, you know. Now I was playing with like Balmain, and I took Dave Topless over. He went over there and he was devastating. He was up. So I think he scored 5 tries in one game.
Wow.
You know, I know I helped him 2 or 3 times, but it was just unbelievable, he was.
But you'll be watching the World Cup.
Oh.
Because 50 years on, you'll be hoping that history is rewritten.
I just hope, I do. For Sean's sake, you know, I just hope that we can put a good side out and that we can give more than what we're going to take, because these Aussies are going to come here and they're going to be cock-a-hoop, and the New Zealanders, they're not a pushover. So I hope Great Britain or England have got a chance.
Yeah, and get a bit more recognition.
And get more recognition.
Than you got in 72.
Well, that's it, you know. I should imagine if they win, I don't think they'll have to pay for the medals like we did.
5 Live Rugby League on 5 Live Sports Extra.
So that was Brian Lockwood, a real giant of the game, a man you know well, Richard Agar.
Yeah, I know Brian's a great man and had a wonderful and storied career. And if you hark back to the days of, I think what traditional British supporters like, the old ball playing forwards. Brian played second row loose forward, but played the majority of his career as a prop. Won a World Cup, won a star at Canterbury and Balmain, and Brian is, a great raconteur. Spend any time with Brian and get talking about any particular time in his career, he'll come up with some great stories. And as a rugby league tragic myself, I love spending time listening to them old guys. Unfortunately, at the moment, you only tend to see him at once in a while at funerals and things like that. But Brian, truly great bloke, great player, and as I say, wonderful stories about what has been an unbelievably storied career.
Yeah, I bet some of those stories. Leeds have pulled one back, by the way. 22 points to 10 now. Liam Sutcliffe scoring for Leeds away at Huddersfield. I guess some of those stories, those were the ones that were broadcastable. There's some belters that aren't.
Yeah, but I guess all good fun back in those days. He referenced another guy there, Terry Clausen. Terry's sons are friends of mine, and the stories going around. Terry actually wrote a book, and his book is not like the modern day, fluffed up autobiographies.
Warts and all.
He wrote it himself, he published it himself, and word for word, some of the stories they got back up to on those tours when you going back to the early 70s. Long before the game was fully professional, and I know some of the stories there revolve around drink. Unfortunately, in this day and age, you can't sort of get away with those type of shenanigans.
No, certainly not. You won't be catching lads. You won't be catching any of these lads sidestepping policemen. Put it that way, as the David Topless story that we were.
Do you know what I'm going to say something? That's actually not the last time that happened to David Topless, because I used to live across the road from him, and I hope he don't mind me telling this story. But one night a policeman followed him home in his car, and he may well or may not have been over the drink driving licence. We lived on the back of a park. David jumped the fence, ran into the park. The policeman rugby tackled him, to which David says to him, "Do you want to sign for Wakefield?"
Ever the coach at the time, wouldn't he have been? Yeah, probably. Or
quick thinking halfback again.
Yeah. So Wigan players just in their dressing room. Salford are back out onto the field. Paul Rowley would have been down, and from his lofty perch, he's back up there now, looking on. He looks fairly sanguine about things, doesn't he? Looks fairly happy.
I think he'll be really happy with his team. Because Wigan undoubtedly have got the cutting edge and the star quality in the team. But I think this Salford team tonight have shown, massive amounts of grit and resilience to be in it where they are at the moment in this game. Paul will be trying to come up with ways that, look, just hang in there, make sure we keep doing what we're doing, and we'll get an opportunity. It's just where that opportunity is coming from. But you can see they've had an attitude with the ball that they are going to promote the ball. He'll certainly want to make the most of any kick plays that get down in the Wigan end. I think if I were Matty Pete as well, he'd be really comfortable with the way Wigan are defending, and just encouraging his team to stick at it, and if they have to win a low or lower scoring game, then that's what they're going to have to do tonight. They're going to have to grind it out.
We're joining up with our sister station 5 Live very shortly. The play just about to get back underway here for the second half. Salford 0, Wigan 6 from that first period. The first 40 minutes, it was intriguing. Both sides threw plenty at it. Wigan made the breakthrough. So it's Tim Lapai who receives the kick-off, and Tim Lapai who takes the first hit up of this second half here. Mark Sneed throws the pass in field to Tyler Dupre, who came on and had a decent stint up top. Liam Byrne has got the jacket on at the moment. Sat astride a bike down on the touchline for Wigan. Their forwards were rotated just before the break. Sam looking like they're going to punch a few holes here for Salford.
They got plenty of rotation, Wigan. They go heavy on the middles on the bench, and at the moment in Patrick Mago on the field, I think they've got a guy who's got some X factor and can certainly produce an offload or a quick play the ball that gets Wigan on the front foot.
Ackers looking to slice his way through here for Salford. Up to the 40. We'll be joining up with 5 Live very shortly. Briley. Kick off the boot. Taken down. And welcome to listeners on 5 Live. It's Salford 0, Wigan 6 here in the Super League. And we will bring you the full second half of this one here from the AJ Bell Stadium. Some precious Super League points are up for grabs, and Richard Agar alongside me, Matt Newsom here tonight, the former Leeds coach, former France coach, Wakefield Hull. It's been a pretty decent standard of game so far. We can have the advantage, but Salford have thrown a fair bit at this game as well.
Yeah, only one try, which, you know, you might look at that and suggest that it's not been much of a contest, but it absolutely hasn't. You know, we've had a Salford team that have been absolutely willing to promote the ball and throw the ball about, sometimes to some error and some ball on the ground, but we said they're prepared to take risks and to try and break this Wigan defence down, and a Wigan team that are throwing stuff at Salford, but Salford have just managed to hang in there at this moment and keep it down to 1 score. So yeah, it's game on, plenty to play for. I think Wigan, if you looked at it as a boxing match, are probably slightly ahead on points in this one, but Salford certainly, you know, showing enough tenacity and resilience to hang in there and give themselves a shot at this game.
So here comes Sneed out of the back to Briley, injects some pace down this left hand side for Salford, and they're inside the 30 here, and they're baring their teeth, you could say, as Tim Lafayette tries to pick that hole behind the ruck here. A set restart as well, and then he throws the pass away, and Wigan come up with the ball. I mean, they had a full set of 6 to go there, and they have coughed it up right in front of the Wigan line.
We talked about them promoting the ball, but I'm going to bring us back to something we talked about pre-game here.
Now it's going on.
We got some push and shove, and a couple of guys look like they're pretty keen to throw a punch in there, but thought a little bit better of it. Matt there. We talked about it pre-game, is that Salford have scored a lot of tries on play 1 and play 2, and I think on play 2 there we saw Tim Lafayette probably in a little bit too much traffic. Be prepared to show that mindset and offload the ball. But if Salford continue over the next sort of 10 and 15 minutes not to breach Wigan's defensive line too much, are we going to see a kick from a scrum or a kick on play 1 or play 2 as a little bit of a shock tactic to try and get over the line?
Yeah, they certainly have it in their arsenal. The Wigan fans, you can hear in full voice behind the posts. So Chris Kendall just in dialogue with his touch judge Jonathan Roberts, or is it? No, it's Marcus Griffiths, about what happened in that particular play. So Sneed and Tommy Luluai have been brought to the attention of the referee. I dare say it's a case of go back to your teams and sort them out.
Yeah, there were a lot of bodies in there and hard to see what were going on, although it sounds like the Salford fans were into Partington on the big screen there. Although it looks like Alex Gerrard has come sliding into the tackle, and Partington, you know, after the ball's gone dead, has taken offence to that, and they've got up and grabbed each other's shirts. So nothing too much in it, and let's just get on with the game.
Yeah, Huddersfield have extended their lead against Leeds in tonight's other Super League game. Will Price penalty goal. Huddersfield 24, Leeds 10, 17 to go there. We've got 36 and a half to go here. Plenty of rugby league to bring you on 5 Live Sport this evening. From the AJ Bell as Wigan move through the gears here. Patrick Mago takes the pass from Tommy Luluai in centre field.
We get some reaction from the Salford fans here. We were right in line with that, and it didn't look too forward to me.
No, look fairly.
But again, good for Salford that they're bringing their own crowd into it.
Yeah, the fans pumped up, trying to respond to that Wigan support behind the post here. Wigan ball movement through the middle now with Partington, who just sledgehammers his way into that Salford defensive line. Last of the 6 tackles here. Smith plays out the back to Field. Field with the dummy, smuggles it away, kick in behind, and a finish in the corner from the man of the moment, Liam Marshall. This will go to the video referee, though. Chris Kendall raises his arms in the air, stops the clock, gestures for the video referee, and he'll send it up as a try on Field. And Wigan, did they get it right that time with the play to the left?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to check onside, offside, and he'll check the grounding. But I reckon Liam Marshall scooped this ball up, and a tremendous bit of wingers finishing. A really smart play again, running the ball on the last play through. Field over on the left hand side. Field got into a bit of space, just delayed the pass, I think, to Bibby. Just trying to see from the screen who put the kick in and is he onside. It looks from first look like he's onside, and I would suggest we'll get a better angle to look at this when they go to the behind shot. Oh, that's a great touch from Bibby. Great touch right at the line. As he stood on the sideline, what a finish. He's picked the ball up as he's heading over the sideline with his left hand, kept his feet in, kept all his body weight in field and pushed off his left foot to make sure he stays in. And it looks to me like that's a try. What a great finish from Liam Marshall.
Liam Marshall, we're having another look here. Bibby with the kicks. Really beautifully weighted kick in behind. Scooped up one-handed by Liam Marshall, as you said, Rich. Plucked it out of the air, kept himself in the field of play and dodged that down. And it looks as though Wigan are going to make it 10 points to 0 here and double figures.
I think what you've got to really appreciate on that try is Salford had numbered up. You know, there were no numerical advantage and there was so little space. You know, they're in such a tight corner of the field that Bibby had got no room to work in. The defender were literally stood on his toes, and I thought he was a sublime bit of skill and awareness just to lay the ball up short, and he'd got no room to work in. It looked like the ball were heading over the sideline, but we talked about Marshall's speed before, and he's an absolute poacher of a try scorer, Marshall. In the tightest of situations there, with no margin for error, he's picked the ball up, scooped it up with his left hand, kept himself in field, and a spectacular finish from a really, really good try from Wigan.
13 in 15 games, 5 in the last 4, 9 now in Super League. He is knocking off those scores, knocking off those tallies, and making Wigan a real force as Harry Smith sends the kick on its way from the left-hand side. The flags stay down, drifted across the face, but it's double figures for Wigan, and Salford now have a two-score deficit, should I say, to have to try and wrestle back here.
And I think a couple of things here. I think Paul might be disappointed that he's not got his fullback, you know, in the crash at least there, you know, out of picture. I think Salford had got numbered up heavily, and Ryan Braley just got caught a little bit tight to the line. He didn't manage to get out of the line quick enough to get involved in the contest with Liam Marshall. But I'd also praise Wigan's composure. You know, Salford have been repelling him, turning him away, but Wigan have just stayed really patient and waited for the slightest of opportunity to get himself back on the scoreboard.
And it's a decision which...
Incorrect play the ball from Mago. This is going to be Salford's ball, I reckon.
Salford, Sam Powell reluctantly handing the ball over to Tyler Dupree. Well, he hasn't quite handed it over to him yet. It's a bit of gamesmanship going on there. Eventually, Salford do get the ball, and Alex Gerrard, who's a bit of a firebrand, will cart that one up for Salford, and full pelt collision between him, Powell and Patrick Mago. Now Sneed takes it to the line, gets it out and away to Harvey Levett, who's being dragged towards the sideline. Penalty for offside against Wigan. And they're certainly applying a bit of squeeze here, Salford.
Yeah, that's it. But look, again, I don't think Wigan are going to be too rattled by that. Just gives them an opportunity to get the line set again.
Tap quick there from Levett. Ball worked into Gerrard, who's belted as it came out the line there from Ethan Havard. Certainly wasn't mucking about. Tyler Dupree ramps up.
Oh, good carry.
Thunderous drive,
good carry. But equally good defence, Matt, too. 3 blokes stopped him dead and drove him back 2 or 3 metres and really won the tackle.
Both sides supporters roaring their side on here. Croft turns it back on the inside for Watkins. He's looking for a landmark score tonight. 150 would bring it up here. Oh, it's an intercept thrown, and there's Luluai, and here comes Jay Field. Jay Field's got some pace to burn. Field maybe to French. French will put the accelerator down, trying to stand him up. Dion Cross forces the ball loose. Brilliant defence there from Salford Red Devils. It looked for all money like Wigan were going to tear them up through the middle, and Salford scramble for dear life and get their reward, and it's Salford 0, Wigan 10.
Hey, well done Salford, because after giving the intercept away, it was Tommy Lulai that got the intercept, which you're probably pretty confident they'd have the speed to round Tommy up, but straight away looming on his inside you got Jay Field. You know, Tommy full of awareness, gets the ball to Field as quick as he can, who in turn got rounded up and found Bevan French. But I'd say there were 7 or 8 Salford players back in the frame. That I reckon that's real good signs for Salford at this stage of the game, being 10 points down, that their energy to get back and save what on another day could have been a full length of the field try right against the head.
Josh Jones has scored again for Huddersfield, 30 points to 10 against Leeds, 10 to go there, just over half an hour to go here, and it's Salford 0, Wigan 10 on 5 Live Sport. But Salford certainly still in this. Callum Watkins gets a half break before he's dragged down just over the halfway line inside the Wigan half. Ackers moves the ball on out to that right side with Brodie Croft, who's again looking to pick his way, tiptoe his way through the giants there, as the big the little halfback taking on the titans of that Wigan middle. Last tackle here for Salford, 30 out from the line. Mark Sneed will put that kick into the air, trying to send it into the corner. Joe Burgess tries to put French down, and French is away, and Bevan French with a little bit of shimmy, he throws it back in behind to Field. They're backing each other up here. Joe Field trying to round his man, flicks it back out to French. What a thrilling move that is! Wigan Warriors turn up the heat on Salford. A breakout from Bevan French from on his own line, finished off in the corner, interchange between him and Field. That was absolutely glorious.
Wow, and it's not the first time that we've seen it this year either. Bevan French, I reckon, just absolutely bluffed the kick Salford kick chase there. He just waited so almost laconically while he got the ball in his hand, put some real late feet up, and not many wingers will go up a short side touchline like that on the kick return. But that's what you get with the player with that type of adventurous spirit as Bevan French. And as soon as he sort of got in the clear there and you saw Field motoring up on the inside, you thought, the only Salford player I saw within cooey of him there were Luckley, and I thought, here we go, this is problems for Salford. It's going to be really interesting now to see how Salford react from that sort of back-to-back punch. Well, what a try.
Well, you just never say by it. Tactically, if you stopped it, paused it there, are you happy with that set, Paul Rowley? Yeah, we put it in the corner, we tried to pin a man back, and then you press play, and it's one of those question of sport moments, isn't it? What happened next? Well, yeah, you got burned to a full-length try.
You know, he duped him. I thought Bevan French's whole body language and his footwork sort of duped the chaser a bit, but I still think you're going to look back and say we should have done a little bit better on the chase and the initial tackle, and I think Bevan French bust the tackle. The next player that tried to put him down, Bevan managed to bust a tackle on that too. But yeah, what a try. And we were talking about speed kills earlier. We've seen Marshall in a tight space, his speed get him away and get to a ball that he probably no right to get to, and then the dynamic duo that they've been doing all season, really. The number of spectacular tries that Jay's had a hand in this year is quite phenomenal, and now he's getting a relationship struck up with Bevan French. It's frightening stuff for the opposition.
So the kick from Smith is good this time. Salford 0, Wigan 16. Jay Field, the darling of this Wigan support these days, but he might not have been wearing cherry and white. Richard Agar, he might well have been wearing blue and amber.
Yeah, close. Yeah, it came really close before the change in quota rules. I think we thought we were getting a PNG passport for Reece Martin, which would have created enough space to sign Fieldsy. We'd got a deal agreed, and then sort of by the time the deal came, we didn't get the passport. By the time the deal came around the year after, there were more than us in for Jay, and he ended up signing for Wigan. Yeah, and after a tricky first season for him, where he had a bad injury and a team what maybe the style of attack he couldn't find his way into that. I think credit to Wigan this year that they've got him doing what he's really good at, and as we've all seen, he's very, very good at it.
John Bateman taking the challenge to this Salford team. Actually, if you pick through this team, Bevan French, he went through a bad time last year. He had the hamstring injury, missed most of the season, had some personal trauma as well with his mother. You've got Liam Marshall on the opposite side, who had 2 ACL injuries. You've had Jay Field, as you say, struggled with his Achilles last season and hamstrings and things like that. Right. There's been some hardship for some of these players. Actually, resilience is something that's built through things like that.
Yeah, they've come through the other side, and again, that's sort of synonymous with Wigan a little bit. They've always produced tough sides and tough players. But getting through the other side, and you heard Brodie Croft talk about it pre-game, that if you're happy and everything's in place off the field, then generally it quite often can reflect. I think the start to the season helps as well. I think if you can get off, round 1, 2 and 3, a good start and some good performances on the belt, and right from the word go, Field, he had a couple of really strong performances which really would have boosted his confidence. But let's not forget too, Farrell, Bateman, Luai, they've got some vastly experienced players there.
Oh, what a ball! They put Tyler Dupree through a huge hole. He's got support from Croft. Does he find him? He can't find him. He just slit the net for a minute there, did Tyler Dupree, but he's got his side on the front foot now. Callum Watkins clips that ball into the corner. It's been hacked behind by Wigan. God, they're on the back foot. Salford splitting them straight through the middle with Tyler Dupree. A goal line dropout to come. They should get the ball back here, Salford, and a chance to maybe cut into this 16-point deficit.
I've got to say, that's a beautiful delayed pass to put Dupree through. He's hit the hole extremely well. Showed a real good turn of speed for a big guy. He could have just have found Croft on the inside. But again, next play, Watkins faced with a Wigan defensive line that's absolutely rounded them up, comes up with a kick play and they don't get over the line. We're getting into crucial territory for Salford now.
Oh, Jack Ormondroyd ramped up. He ran that in like a bull towards a matador, and as he got to the point of contact, the ball just squirted out. And again, that's Wigan setting a standard there, isn't it? You come running at us, we're going to belt you.
Yeah, 100%, and we saw it when they had to defend the try line when Dupree came onto that ball a few moments ago. What we also saw there was something that I thought was quite telling. As soon as that ball was knocked on and hit the ground, 12 of the 13 Wigan players were all over the tackler within seconds. And I think that just shows a little bit of where their headspace is at the moment. Matty Peat will be looking at that, and he'll be just as happy with that as he is seeing the length of the field try.
Defensive efforts on the back of stellar football. Salford 0, Wigan 16 here on 5 Live Sport. Second half commentary as Brad Singleton stomps his way forward through the middle here for the Cherry and Whites in their blue and white hoop to Waker here. Liam Farrell back against the grain, the talisman.
It's starting to feel some real momentum change now. 16-0, you're going to think Salford's going to have to really, really chance the arm, and Wigan are starting to get more speed in the play the ball and power forward a little bit more here. So yeah, it'd be a real interesting 5 or 10 minutes for Salford to try and stay and hang in this game and not let the scoreboard run away with them.
Yeah, 2 to go at the John Smith Stadium. Huddersfield 30, Leeds 16. Zach Hardacre with what looks like it'll be a consolation for the blue and amber. Rowan Smith's honeymoon period maybe just coming to an end tonight, although they've made some strides, haven't they? But tonight, as you said, I think a few people might have fancied them. Huddersfield have done a really good job.
Yeah, I did. But you have to credit Huddersfield. They've got some major players missing, and they're having a strong season. Challenge Cup final, very much cementing themselves in the top 4 at the moment. So real credit to them.
Yeah, Ian Watson, who worked wonders here, of course, with Salford, took the club to a grand final and a Challenge Cup final in back-to-back seasons. He swapped it all for a new challenge at Huddersfield. It's a sticky first year, but it takes time for a coach to get their imprint, doesn't it? I mean, even Matt Peat's done a terrific job and actually probably accelerated the kind of process, the progress made. But Paul Rowley probably won't see his true squad until maybe next season.
Oh, looks like we're in again.
Willie Isa out to French into the corner. What a super try that is. Took to the air. He's seeking the Tunstridge's counsel and will point for the score. Bevan French off the back of the scrum play. The ball was whipped off the base of the scrum out towards Willie Isa, and he just handed it to French, who had the gas to coast in at the corner, and that maybe just blows it out here beyond Salford, even with 23 to play. Salford 0, Wigan 20.
Matt, there was speed at the start of it and speed at the end of it. Obviously, again, a set play from Wigan. They've opened up a really big short side to put the quick guys in as much space as they possibly can. And all you notice is J Field fed the scrum. broke off, so the loose forward got to it and just managed to get to the next defender to give him that overlap. So it was speed right at the start, even over a couple of metres. It just got the next defender in Tim Laffey really interested. Well, let's get the ball in Bevan French's hands as quick as we possibly can. Just let him do the rest. You know, space, not too much on the outside, but enough to burn Joe Burgess, and it took a spectacular finish. But again, you know, speed at the start of it, speed at the end of it, in a big enough space to make it count.
23 to go, and Bevan French celebrates again, and Harry Smith with the kick from this right touchline. The light fading here, the floodlights doing their bit to cascade on the field as the clouds are blown away, but the Wigan fans behind the posts at the moment are, well, they're quite jumping.
Yeah, rightly so, Matt. You know, we were talking about it before Bevan French rudely interrupted us by scoring that try. Yeah, we talked about Ian Watson and Matty P and Paul Rowley. Don't forget, Matty P spent a lot of time in this club. You know, he spent an awful long time as a coach, as a development coach. So to get his first head coaching job, young, and people say inexperienced, and is it a surprise? I think within the game, Matty's got a very, very good reputation. You know, even though he's probably a quite unheralded name, but he would have, I would say, had a significant advantage compared to Ian Watson, having to go into a brand new club, get to know brand new people with a roster that he's completely unfamiliar with, and obviously in his first 12 months decided, I need to make some fair old roster changes here. So yeah, Matty while being a more inexperienced head coach, would have probably got a little bit of a head start on where Watto were in the respect that, you know, he's Wigan through and through and been at the club an awful long time. Nonetheless, what an amazing job he's done.
Yeah, trophy in the cabinet already. Paul Rowley has probably, it was one of those where you blink of an eye, this game has completely turned on its head. 20 points to 0 to Wigan. They've been ruthless in the second half. It was 6-0 at half time. Jay Field again is brushed aside, a couple of tacklers, flings the pass out to Marshall. Wigan have got a man down in back play, by the way. Feeling the effects, is it John Bateman?
Yeah, it's John Bateman. I think he's got him. I think he feels he's gone to the line and showed the ball there. The Salford defenders have tackled Bateman without the ball.
It's on suspicion, isn't it, almost?
It's on suspicion, yeah. Laffey's hit him, and it looked reasonably high as well, but well, the referee's seen it. TV cameras are going to pick it up. John Bateman's not going to be in any rush to get off the floor while the people upstairs have a look at that and make sure he gets the penalty. And yeah, ominous signs for Salford here. I think Salford have been, you know, effort-wise, how can we knock the effort? We can't knock the effort. I think purely and simply, you know, we got a team that's experienced, that's in really good form, and that at this moment in time just got a bit more quality on the field in terms of finishing and execution.
Yeah, Giants are up to second after beating Leeds 13 points to 16, but when Wigan most likely win here, they will drop back down to third, but as you say, cementing place in the top four right now.
But enjoy that 20 minutes, mate.
Absolutely,
enjoy
yeah, they will, won't they? We praying for a Salford fight back here, but might not come. But they've certainly very much been part of this contest so far. Smith out to French. French throws the pass to Isa. It'll be Marshall who gets into the corner. They're cutting loose now, Wigan. They're handling so crisp, so slick. And they have this game in the bag now. Salford 0, Wigan 24. Liam Marshall continues a remarkable scoring run.
Yeah, look, I think Wigan, they were trying to sell something to Salford that they could attack both sides of the field. They've got 2 points of attack ready to go. Late movement from the halves. I think it's Harry Smith bolts across from the short side, and just the execution of the plays on the end. And again, when you've got Jay Field and Bevan French with that speed and that ability to beat people while the ball's in the air with the footwork and then find the pass on the end of it, always dangerous. You can just see Bevan French as the Salford line defensive end players jam in, just takes that space and gives Marshall and Isa an easy catch and pass. Isa an easy catch and pass to Marshall. Yeah, great play.
I mean, Salford will look at it, won't they? They had that chance where they got a penalty, they tapped it, Waterjoy ramps up, spills. So, I mean, good kick in behind, they get burned, some really good footwork. Try. It's they'll look back at the game and go, you know,
yeah, some real turning points in momentum.
Yeah.
You know, I think we can praise Wigan's business-like performance. You know, they've just stayed in there, didn't get too ruffled at 6-0. Just keep doing what we're doing, and the opportunities will come. We just need to be good enough to put our opportunities away. When they've had the opportunities this half, my word, they have put them away. But you know, I think fatigue will play a bit of a factor too. I think Wigan have looked a little bit more, I guess, you know, physically dominant over Salford, who've certainly got some inexperience in the team and in the middle in particular. But no, I'd have to praise Wigan for a thoroughly professional first 60 minutes.
Madrid making way. Sitaleki Akawala back on. Likewise, Elijah Taylor as Alex Gerrard also comes off. So certainly out of Taylor you get pure honesty in terms of he will keep tackling and tackling and tackling, but you get a little bit of a ball play in there as well.
Yeah, you do. Again, vastly experienced player. I think this, you know, we're coming up to probably a point at 24-0 with 18 minutes left, where, you know, this is going to be beyond Salford now in terms of the scoreboard. But with 18 minutes left, look, this can go either way. I think Salford can keep holding the gloves up, get hold of the ball, and keep fighting and trying to get some points on the board. But what Paul definitely won't want to see is the team that sort of breaks away and gets its head down and starts going within its shell and kicking stones a little bit here. If they do that, you know, it could be a pretty messy night for the rest of the night. But let's hope they don't, because I don't think from their efforts so far they've quite deserved that. But this Wigan team playing with, you know, plenty of confidence at the moment.
Well, kick in field for Marshall. Bevan French touches down to the right of the post. I mean, they have just ripping Salford apart.
That is confidence. You know, that is confidence, and we got the same players on the back of it again. You know, this time it's Marshall. You know, Marshall gets into space, getting rounded up from the covering Salford defence, and just puts a real delicate infield kick in. And, you know, who else on the end of it? Supreme poacher, reading the game like he does. Bevan French, and the ball, you know, just bounces beautifully into his hands. I think it was Harry Smith, saw the Salford defence jamming and threw the ball right over the top. They're going to have to check Bevan French for offside, but it looks all good to go here, and it's another Wigan try.
Yeah, too hot, really. They're running too hot here right now. Bevan French in for the it's the hat-trick try, isn't it, for him? What a night for Bevan French. Running amok. And that takes his tally to 8 for the season in all competitions.
They're a threat, Matt, aren't they? They look a real threat. You know, you've got to say that having knocked St Helens out of the Challenge Cup in a big game in a major semi-final, gone on and won the cup, you know, they're thoroughly professional. I thought last week at Castleford after the cup final, understandably they were a bit down for 40 minutes, but still had, you know, well enough in the tank to have a comfortable and confident win at the end of it. You know, whether they have a couple of changes in and around the half-backs, they've lost Cade Cuss, but Harry Smith's come back and Lulai's in the team. You know, it's been a bit of a seamless transition for them. Bevan French has played full-back for the last 10 minutes and you know, come up with a try within the first time he gets his hand on the ball. Now they look a real threat on the competition this year.
So it's 30 points to 0. Harry Smith nailing the kick this time. Tomorrow, 5 Live Sport. The big one is the Nations League game. England entertaining Italy at Molineux. That's at 7:45 tomorrow night. And before that, Republic of Ireland against Scotland. And early in the day, Rugby Union Premiership semi-final, Saracens against Harlequins. And tomorrow on Sports Extra, there's the test match from 10:15. England-New Zealand, day 2 of the second test from Trent Bridge. And later on that evening as well, Wales against Belgium. That's on 5 Live Sports Extra tomorrow.
What a great day for sport.
I know, yeah.
Aren't we lucky?
Lock yourself in your room, sit in bed. This ball's coming our way, isn't it? Bang! Not quite our way.
I'd have dropped it. I'd have definitely dropped it.
I was just watching it quite stupidly, a bit like a cartoon. And it thankfully thudded into the boards in front of us. Yeah, I wouldn't have let my handling deficiencies have been aired to the natives here. Jay Field, Wigan again throwing some shape,
wow.
and it's Sitaleki Akawala came out the line, and Jay Field was bobbing and ducking and weaving, and he just went bang, slammed him.
You know, the words that were going to come out of my mouth are, how is Salford going to stop this Wigan momentum at this moment in time? And before I get it out, Akawala puts a big bell ringer on Jay Field.
Into the hands of Smith. Smith to Field, cutting loose again. French went for it. Co came out the line to try and grasp it. I tell you what, Ken Co, we mentioned him a couple of times in terms of bringing the ball out of backfield, but one of the premium try scorers in Super League, 14 this season. He's barely touched the ball in an attacking sense.
Yeah, true. And it's been a difficult night for Salford on attack. You know, we've got to give first and foremost credit to Wigan's. Wigan's really strong defence. They control the ruck in the middle of the field. I don't think they've missed many tackles throughout the course of the night, Matt. And on the try line, they've been, very well connected and worked really hard for each other. So they've been a real tough nut to crack. But that I think early doors, it were always going to be the case for Salford. Where was Salford going to find the points from?
Live Super League here on 5 Live Sport. Salford 0, Wigan 30. They've really committed plenty to this. They've given sweat and toil Salford, but they just have had no answer to this Wigan onslaught, particularly in the second half, where they put on 24 points without reply, having scored 6 in the first half. Powell fishes the pass to Smith, away to that left side, delayed pass. Ken Co gets his hands on it this time. It went backwards, did it? Although
third time lucky, maybe. If Bevan French tries to find that Wiganer on that far left hand side, he might give Ken Co another chance to pick the ball up and run the length of the field. But Wigan chancing their arm now. Look, Wigan are throwing the ball about, trying to put as many points as they can on Salford by shifting the ball. But maybe Matty might get a more direct set out of them next time and just start trying to smash the front door in a little bit. That's twice have nearly been picked off. Although we've got the speed from the scrum play again.
Yep, this time Mark Sneed makes sure that Jay Field has nowhere to spread his wings. Marshall poised infield, it goes to Powell instead, the hooker, the metronome, who picks out Cade Ellis, and it goes from a bit of craft to a bit more graft and a bit of brawn through the middle that time. The ball comes loose in the tackle. Didn't have requisite control, says Chris Kendall, and it will be Salford ball, scrum in centre field, 10 away from their own line.
Yeah, correct call too. He's got the ball on the ground way too early, didn't regain his feet, and it all ended up a little bit of a tangled mess, and he's given possession of one or two errors creeping in now, Matt. Wigan chasing points, Salford trying to stop them, and Salford obviously trying to get on the scoreboard late on. We've had 4 or 5 sets worth of balls, not got to the end of the set and ended up on the ground. So a little bit more control for this last 10.
30 points to nil in Wigan's favour here at Salford. A set restart though for Salford, looking for some jump start out of their own end of the field. Being pinned in by a relentless line speed. Wigan getting up off the 10 metres that they have to get back and really firing into those Salford players as they look to come off the pass from the play of the ball. Elijah Taylor goes out the back to Croft, trying to switch the angle here with Callum Watkins, who is muscled out of it. 25 away from his own sticks here. That'll be Akawala. Bumpers up, leaves Sam Powell on the floor, but again we can slow down the play of the ball. Powell gets caught behind the ruck. Now it'll be Croft away to that right hand side. Up over halfway now with Dion Cross and Salford on the scrum line's last tackle, last of the 6. As the ball is fizzed infield to Mark Sneed, who has to take it on the back pedal and then sweeps a horror of a kick. Oh, that's horrible, and then it bounces in the in goal and out behind. So it's a 7 tackle set. Cooked that one all too wrong, did Mark Sneed in the end, and we can get a tap on the 20 and an extra tackle in the set here.
Yeah, ended up too big on the kick, and Bevan French really comfortable, even though the old adage, you're never letting a rugby ball bounce. He was confident that the ball had plenty of momentum there, and the Salford players were way 40 metres back downfield, confident to let it bounce, and whatever the outcome of the bounce, confident that they'll get the outcome.
Well, Sam Powell was limping there. He's had 6 games off with a ban for a crusher tackle on John Bennison in the Good Friday derby with Saints, but he's limping around at the moment. Bevan French is stepping up to take on those duties at acting half at each tackle, each play the ball. He's the one who's just giving Sam Powell a chance to maybe get his rhythm back. Powell looks as though he's back in the groove here as Wigan edge towards halfway. On the back of that Liam Farrell work, now Partington moves it into Cade Ellis, and Ellis is tackled just over halfway centre field here. 5 Live Sport, Salford 0, Wigan 30 with just under 10 to go. Bateman creeping across field here, looking for a chink in the armour as he's wrestled to the ground, scooped up by Powell one-handed. That just quickens up the play of the ball. Now Liam Farrell battering away down the left-hand side, and they're up to the 20 inside the Salford half here. Marshall wants a switch as he hangs out on this right-hand side. Smith will send the kick up here. Isa chasing, Lafay takes it inside his own 10, but the Wigan chase is good, and Lafay's got nowhere to go from deep inside his own 10, Richard Agar.
Yeah, I think Wigan quite content on that occasion, Matt, not to go and challenge for the ball. You know, they've had a pretty solid set working downfield, turn the ball over in Salford's 10 and just get ready to rev up defensively and get the ball back in better field position on the back of some strong D here.
Patrick Mago about to return for the 7th Wigan interchange of the night. 30 points to 0 they lead. A hat-trick for Bevan French, 1 for 2 for, should I say, for Liam Marshall, and 1 for Harry Smith. As Briley wrestles his way forward up to halfway down this left-hand side. Livett passes to Croft, who's drifting across, looking to put somebody through a gap. Sneed accelerates into space, rams the kick in behind. Chase it from Croft. Bevan French racing across. Does it have enough on it? In the end, French has to tap it behind. So Wigan goal line drop out. Salford should get the ball back here, but again, they're
trying, mate. They're trying. It's a 30-0 scoreline, but I don't think, we've had a couple of periods where I just believe Salford have been outdone on firepower and quality. Quite simply. I don't think there's ever been any lack of endeavour with a footy, trying things, trying to offload, trying to come up with kick tries. They've come up with a pretty impenetrable defence in Wigan, but they plain and simply haven't had the firepower, the bench power, and the quality in their attack to trouble Wigan enough. And a team as good as Wigan in the form that they're in, they've kept composed, stayed patient, and they've ended up chipping away to 30 points.
Former Wigan hooker Amir Baru is on, who's a spiky little character, Siddle, amateur, who came through at the Wigan club with the likes of Morgan Smithies, who's just sat down in front of it, suspended at the moment, but another former Siddle player as well.
It's been a prolific club, Matt. It's recently, very much so over the last 10 years, producing an awful lot of players right throughout Super League. Not just the top clubs too, but wherever you go, there's a lot of Siddle players, representing their amateur team, which has done a really good job to get them through to being professional players.
Definite source of pride, isn't it? Knock on here, was it by Patrick Mago? So Salford will get the ball back here. They will play the ball centre field. Elijah Taylor wanting to get things moving here. 6 minutes 47 and counting. It's a 30-point ball game, but as we've said, Salford keep plugging away. In fact, it's a scrum, isn't it? But for the handling error.
Yeah, it's a scrum. They've piled everybody on right smack bang centre midfield, but they've piled everybody onto this side of the field, so they're going to have a crack at the numbers through Sneed here.
Yep, Sneed with a kick in behind. Marshall goes back and hacks it behind on the half volley. It was looked out of place at Wembley, that one, but smashed into the Wigan fans behind.
He got one last week where he volleyed a crossfield kick. He had the second kick and he volleyed it, so he must fancy himself as a little bit of a soccer player, Liam Marshall. But back to your tip sheets there, Matt. I'm quite sure that in the week Matty Peake would have seen some of them trick plays from Salford, and Liam Marshall got his eyes on the end of the line, but also on the kick play too, and his turn and his speed were good enough to get him out of it.
Elijah Taylor, bump and spin, got away. Lafay with the footwork, just slips away from Liam Marshall, who was surging in to make the challenge. But Salford again, they've done enough. They've worked so hard here. Their fans would love a try, but Wigan are in that kind of mood that the duck egg, the big zero, means an awful lot to them. Ackers slipping out of acting half, finds Sneed. Sneed plays out the back to Briley, who puts the brakes on, turns back towards that middle of the field again. Wigan keep making defensive effort.
There's a real hunger in Wigan's defence here, isn't there? You know, we talk about the duck egg, and I think every coach, no matter what he scores offensively, to get through 80 minutes of rugby league and not concede a point, and we might be putting the mockers on them with 5 minutes to go and the repeat set.
Croft, dummy, runs into trouble though. The big shoulders of the Wigan defensive line.
He gets tackled a lot with the ball for a standoff.
Ackers went to shape to pass right and came left, and Elijah Taylor is melted down in centre field under the post here. Ackers swings the ball right to Croft. Croft again goes down with the ball, and that come loose. He's just about kept hold of it. Mark Sneed trying to arrange things here. The orchestrator, the conductor of this orchestra. Here comes Sneed. Sneed flings the pass to Lafay. Lafay gets on the outside of Isa. Throws the pass back in field towards Harvey Levett here. They're 30 points to nil down.
It's a solid line, mate. That's a solid Wigan line at this stage of the game.
Taylor throws the pass to Croft. He had to take that above his head. Nice kick from Briley. Heading into the corner. Oh, the bounce falls kindly. They will get a score. It'll be Dion Cross who touches down with 4 to go, and Salford fans, well, I think they can at least chuckle to themselves. They've got something to take away from this game. It will feel like scant consolation for Paul Rowley, but Dion Cross gets try number 6 of the season.
Yeah, they kept trying there, and I'm just thinking to myself there, I'm thinking on the back of the 6 again, how impressive the Wigan defensive line was. There's 2 things that stood out when the forced error from Ormond Royd and 12 players came in to celebrate, and I'm thinking with 3 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, to defend 10-12 tackles on your line, that's the start of Matty Preet's review tomorrow morning to look how deep into the game they are, but it's ended up coming from a kick try. We talked about how on earth are Salford going to breach this line, and on the back of I think it were 8 or 9 tackles in the set and a kick behind the winger as they got a little bit of second phase possession. You know, Salford have got a reward for I think trying really hard with the football tonight.
Yeah, Paul Rowley will have to scratch this one off and say, this kid's gone. I mean, the review will be mightily useful, I'm sure, in terms of his side growing as a team, but as you say, they've got a reward. Mark Sneed with that unorthodox kicking style has landed it, so it's 6 points to 30 Salford trail here. 2 minutes 46 to go on the clock, and Wigan's clean sheet is gone up in smoke.
Yeah, blotted it for tonight, but look, I think you've got to put things in perspective a little bit. While I'm sure they would have liked to keep Salford to 0, I think there's plenty of positives that we're going to be pulling out of this tonight, and certainly would have settled for a 30 points to 6 scoreline before the start of the game. And you've got to say the bulk of it has been in pretty impressive fashion.
And it will mean something to Salford. It will certainly mean something to Mark Sneed. He's now the outright 9th in the all-time Super League point scoring chart, surpassing Iestyn Harris, pushing him into 10th. There's a fair gap between him and his kind of nearest rival in that particular list for Mark Sneed, but he's outright 9th now in the Super League point scorers of all time, and he's had a remarkable record and a remarkable career.
2 Challenge Cups and 2 Leinster trophies. Started at his home club, finished at his home club as well, if indeed he does finish here. So, yeah.
One of those who, a fine clubman, he never made the international grade really. I think he was due to play for Ireland, wasn't he? I think there was some admin mix-up at 2013, so he didn't get to play, but he's certainly had an excellent club career, and one that, as you say, 2 Lance Todds back-to-back and 2 Challenge Cups. Most players would get their right arm for that kind of weaponry. Here comes Akawala. Relentless drive from here, and they're inside the 10. They've got the bit between their teeth, just a little too late here, Salford. Akawala plays it to Ackers. Now it'll be Croft who puts that kick into the Angola. Charges on. Callum Watkins. Did he make it?
He's going to go to the screen on first glance, and with a bit away here, mate. I think he might have a chance here.
Callum Watkins, well, we'd have 2 landmarks in the space of about 5 minutes.
I think he might have a chance, and I'd also say the Wigan fans at the back of the post give a bit of a reaction away there in that they're completely silent. So I'm tipping Callum's got first to this ball and come away with another consolation, tried to put a 30 points to possibly 12 slant on it.
If he has got this, and it looked like he did, that will be 150 for him. So we'll have Mark Sneyd making it 9th in the Super League all-time scorers list. Callum Watkins came through the crowd there, really wanted it. Has he got the requisite control? Salford fans
seem to think so.
Yeah, they cheered over on that far side,
and they've got a better look at it than us.
Yeah, exactly. Last time I was here, me and Brian Noble were sort of saying it's a bit. Well, I said it was a bit like looking at someone's telly through their back garden, through the patio windows. And
have you ever done that, Matt?
No, he said he seemed to suggest that made me a bit creepy, but I disagreed. And I've never done that. Why would I do that?
When we were kids.
Yeah, exactly.
When we were kids,
What are they watching? Peeking through. So we've been to the video referee. He's made his decision. The man in the box tonight is Tom Grant, and he's awarded the try. So Callum Watkins makes it 150 for his career. So Salford, they've got a bit of reward here. 2 late tries. They'll have come too late. But what it does suggest is that, they might not have the firepower, but they've got some firepower.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's, what you got to focus on week here is, Paul will know that. He hasn't got some of the tools at the disposal of what Wigan's got in terms of, the class and quality players. But I think he saw enough in some times where they absolutely had the blowtorch put them in the first half, but they hung in there. Eventually Wigan cracked him and, put some quick fire points on him. Salford haven't thrown in the towel and come back with 2 tries. He has taken 2 kicks to breach Wigan's defence, which is Wigan's defensive effort tonight. There's been a hunger in the defence and, a real desire to defend their own try line in any situation. So, fair play to Salford. They've hung in there till the end. Come up with a couple of consolation tries to put a bit of a different slant on the scoreboard, but I think they'll live to fight another day, and they'll know that, right opposition on the right day and the right performance, they've got some more wins in them.
Absolutely. They've certainly been making strides under Paul Rowley. I mean, they were very close against Saints. Just a few points in, just a 2 points in that one. Sorry, no, the 4 points in that one. They were only 6 points away from Wigan. They've been a little bit further away tonight. 18-point deficit, but Mark Sneyd banging the kick downfield.
20-40.
Yeah, he's trying to get his side out, and just didn't quite make it. But
that'll take us to the end, Matty, I think.
Yeah. The clock counting down. The Wigan players will take out the win here at the AJ Bell Stadium. The Challenge Cup winners have picked up off the back of that Challenge Cup with back-to-back wins in Super League. Certainly no hangover from life at Tottenham. It has been a terrific display from them again. I mean, the 2 tries at the end give it the score. Almost an unflattering look about it, doesn't it? But what a performance.
Yeah, thorough, professional, composed, and when they had to be, the execution levels and the quality on the end of some of the attack, fantastic.
Right, we're being joined here by Tommy Luluai, fresh off the bench. Tommy, great performance tonight. The 2 tries at the end probably give the score a little bit of an unflattering look for Wigan, but you played brilliant tonight.
Go again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate, we can hear
gotcha,
you.
Yeah, I didn't catch the back end of that, but yes, we were pleased with the performance. The 2 tries at the end. Not pleasing, but look, I thought we were really dominant for periods of the game. I've got to give Salford a rep that first half. I thought they were outstanding. It was a real good game. High intensity. I thought we threw a lot at them, but they handled it really well. So, very tough game.
When you're playing in the halves and you've got weapons like Jay Fields, Bevan Brents, Liam Marshall, it's almost an assortment of riches, isn't it?
Yeah, we're very lucky. We've got some outside backs that are pretty scary to defend against. Speed was most probably the word that sums them up, but also very intelligent. Jay Fields a smart man when it comes to football, and along with Bev and Marshy's finishing ability is class. So we just have to give them space, really, is what we get told to do.
It would have been really easy after the Challenge Cup to almost not put the cue in the rack, but the celebrations almost take over. But you've been straight back to business in Super League. What's the secret?
There's no secret. There's another prize to win. I've been lucky enough to be involved with some good teams, and look, we celebrated as we should and as the cup deserves. But we're back into work and we're chasing something else now. So if that gave our young boys a bit of a taste of what it's like, we hope that did, because we've got to refocus. We've got a week off now, but we're back into it.
And just one quick word on you. Obviously, you came back at accelerated rate for the cup final. How's your body feeling?
Yeah, it's been tough. I worked really hard to get back for that game. The last week my body was still sore, so gave us a little rest. But today was about managing my load, and I got a decent bit out there. Felt a bit rusty in the first half, but second half I thought once we got on top, I felt well, and Matty was good enough to give me a little rest.
Mate, you'll enjoy that ice bath, I'm sure.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us, Tommy.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, mate. Tommy Lillewhite there. Veteran status at the moment, but what a player. He's still churning out top level performances, isn't he?
And he's still got a right shoulder that you absolutely don't want to run into as well. It can be quite lethal at times if the ball player on the inside lines him up. Tommy's always ready to bang people, but no, vastly experienced, got enough speed and quickness around him that he's got the speed and quickness where it counts sometimes, and that's the top 2 inch between the ears.
Just looking out as the Wigan players go to greet their fans. The Salford fans have been and done their lap of honour as well, and credit to the fans. I mean, I think the level of support here has really improved over the last season a bit. They've always been passionate, but now they're getting the numbers in as well. So they've done really well to stick behind their team, and the Wigan support tonight also super.
And it's hard for a fan when your team's 30 points to 0 down, and with 15-20 minutes to go, that the game is beyond you and you're not going to win. But a sizable amount of the Salford fans stayed behind, got behind the team when they scored the 2 late tries, and they'll know that they'll live to fight another day. And I think I've been at Wakefield myself as a coach, Matt, and sometimes in rugby league there's the haves and have-nots, and I think this is what Paul's facing, and I faced a bit of it myself at Wakefield. Sometimes you end up with a decent side, and players get picked off and move on, and the rebuild comes every sort of 2 to 3 years rather than every 4 to 5 as you'd like. So they'll have been a Salford fan over a long period of time. They'll ride the highs and the lows, and they know what it's all about. And good that they stayed behind and got behind the team when they got on the scoreboard at the end.
Just seeing who we might be able to pick off here for an interview. A man who joined us before the game, and we were talking about how he was having a perfect fortnight. I mean, you can add another couple of tries and another week to your remarkable form. Are you going to play the lottery this week, Liam?
Yeah, I think my luck's in at the minute. No, we're playing some good rugby, and when you're on the edge, you usually get the opportunity to score some tries. And it's a privilege to play with Bevan and Jay. They make things, but there's some lads who probably don't get the credit because they do so much nice flair stuff. But yeah, we're building as a team. Still some things to keep working on and fix up, but yeah, if we keep knocking off these wins, you can't really complain.
I know Salford scored a couple of points towards the back end, but I mean, I think your coach will be delighted with the way he defended throughout the game. He just kept turning Salford away, and I mean, they kept plugging away as well.
Yeah, obviously it's a bit disappointing to see those 2 tries. It would have been like the cherry on top. We would have got that 0 against them, but two kicks is probably the way. If you was going to concede tries, you would concede them. Obviously, from the energy the boys showed, lads off the bench was outstanding, and yeah, unfortunate, like I said, to concede those tries. But for probably 70 minutes of the game, I think we was brilliant.
Are you having a personal competition between you, Bev, and Jay as to like who scores the most tries? Is there some sort of cake baking thing up for grabs or something? Is there some competition going on between you all?
I think I'll be losing if there is. I get a couple, and then they seem to just come back and score more themselves. But yeah, like I said, 2 great players, and we're lucky to have them. But yeah, we're hopefully building something here as a team, and it's exciting.
Thanks for talking to us, Liam.
No worries, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, Liam Marshall there, he's having a wow of a season, hasn't he? I mean, he's come back from some real heartache and real tough times, in terms of the injuries that he's had, the 2 ACLs. I mean, he looked for 1 point. I think Wigan said, you're free to go, or you could look for another club, but he's plugged away, stuck out here. Now he's a must pick, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought he spoke really well there, and interesting. Both Tommy and Liam pay tribute to the quality in the team in terms of Bevan and in terms of Jayfield, but really noticeable too. Very quickly off that subject, they make it about the team. They've all got the part to play, and they all rely on each other. And if the forwards aren't doing their jobs and the halves aren't doing their jobs, then the quality guys don't get that platform to play off. While they all appreciate each other's roles, they know ultimately, that a team is only as good as the sum of its parts.
So the final score here, by the way, Salford 12, Wigan 30. Huddersfield Giants beating Leeds Rhinos, so Wigan go back into second place. Huddersfield very close behind them in third. I mean, we're looking at the rest of the weekend's fixtures. Catalan against Hull tomorrow, Toulouse, Castleford, Saints, Hull KR, and Wigan, Warrington all on Sunday. I mean, Wigan Warrington stands out for very different reasons, maybe to maybe Saints, Hull KR.
Well, I think there's some interesting games there, Matt. I think Catalans and Hull. People haven't really talked about Catalans too much at this stage of the year. They've quietly gone about the business, but they're in the top four, and you know, they're chugging along real nicely, almost under the radar this year. Hull FC are going to face a real challenge with Jake Connor missing out of the team. Again, they're going to have to come up with some try assists and some points. Toulouse Castle's an interesting one, because I think Toulouse is starting to look like a real tricky fixture for a lot of teams that are going over there, and Castleford on the back of a defeat last week, and again Wakefield and Warrington, as we talked about earlier. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Wakefield on the back of a real confidence boosting win last week, again a Warrington team that are just, you know, searching for confidence at the moment.
Quick word on James Roby. He will surpass Kevin Sinfield's most appearances in Super League if he plays for Saints against Hull KR, as we anticipate him to. I mean, just how good has he been?
Well, if he's surpassing Kevin Sinfield's record, you know, you're going to have to, the word that you can use with players of this ilk, I would suggest, is iconic. You know, James, you know, both players that we talked about there, wonderful professionals and ambassadors for the game, and you know, the longevity and the quality and success of their careers has been amazing.
My thanks to Richard Agar for his company this evening. Don't forget the Super League show has highlights of this and all the others from round 15. That's on the iPlayer from 7 on Monday night, BBC One at 11:10, and repeated at 1 p.m. on Tuesday lunchtime over on BBC Two. The 5 Live Rugby League podcast is of course available to download and listen to from BBC Sounds every Wednesday. But that's all of it from us here in Salford. On the other side of the news, it's on 5 Live. It's Stephen Nolan.